Chapter 1892. Not only were the dragon-headed and snake-headed people under Gong Zibai's control dead, but his team had also lost 6 clones. It was a heavy loss, but there was nothing he could do about it. The void purple light snakes were too fast. Even Mo Tianji couldn't stop them, let alone Gong Zibai and his team. The void purple light snakes devoured energy and flew. Any seal would be broken in an instant. Long Jin checked and nodded. That's right. They are members of the Black Dragons. Half of them are from the Flying Serpent race. Brother 13, should we kill them? Tianyu asked. We know the dragon language and have a good relationship with the dragon language. There's no need to attack the Black Dragons directly. I have a grudge with Long Zai. I'll settle it with him in the future. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Long Jin and Tianyu nodded. They supported Night Sorrow's decision. Currently, the Black Dragons and Flying Serpents had been going against the 100 Races Alliance of the Celestial Realm. However, the 100 Races Alliance hadn't given the order to kill them. Night Sorrow didn't kill the Black Dragons because he was considering the big picture. Sometimes, the tiger would hurt the man even if the man didn't hurt the man. Night Sorrow's team was eating meat and drinking wine when Gong Zibai and his team arrived. After arriving, they surrounded Night Sorrow's team. Gong Zibai's eyes were fixed on the Sky Desolation halberd in front of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's team ignored Gong Zibai and his team and continued drinking. They wanted to see what Gong Zibai was going to do. Sky Desolation halberd. I've searched high and low for it, only to find it by chance. Gong Zibai recognized the Sky Desolation halberd. It was one of his missions. Are you done? Then get lost. Long Jin looked at Gong Zibai's greedy eyes unhappily. Do you want to die? Gong Zibai unsheathed his sword and pointed it at Long Jin. Long Jin stood up. Golden scales appeared on his arms, and dragon horns appeared on his head. He had transformed into a half-dragon. Are you going to attack me? If you want to attack, then get lost. There were many branches of the dragons. However, there was only one royal, and that was the Golden Dragon race. When Long Jin started to dragonize, the members of the Black Dragon clan retreated a distance. The natural king's aura had a great effect on them. I don't care who you are. The Patriarch has ordered us to bring the Sky Desolation halberd back. No one can stop us, Gong Zongbai said. Calm. Leader, they won't retreat. Long Jin said. He was. Night Sorrows, S. Night, calm. S, fight. It's. Yi. B. Let, fight. Do you really think you're so great? You usually drag us down and show off. No one cares. But you shouldn't have stuck your foot in front of us. Tianyu held his sword in his hand. 3 pieces of trash. How dare you talk big? Who do you think you are? What is the Golden Dragon race? Gong Zibai looked at the Sky Baron war halberd with fiery eyes. We're trash. Who do you think you are? Night Sorrow snorted. You don't know what's good for you. Kill them all. Gong Zibai's eyes didn't leave the Sky Baron war halberd. He waved his hand and ordered the team behind him to attack. Tianyu roared. He unsheathed his sword and rushed toward the other members of the Black Dragon team. Long Jin began to wield the tsunami blade in his hand to kill the members of the Dragon tribe and the Flying Serpent tribe. Gong Zibai then rushed toward Night Sorrow. His target was the Sky Baron war halberd in front of Night Sorrow. Reckless. Night Sorrow grabbed the Sky Baron war halberd with his right hand and slashed at the war blade in Gong Zibai's right hand. You're the one who's courting death. Gong Zibai snorted. In terms of strength, Gong Zibai was never afraid of anyone. He was from the Black Dragon race and was born with great strength. Not to mention, his cultivation base was slightly higher than Night Sorrow's. When the two weapons collided, Gong Zibai's face changed. A powerful force came from the Sky Baron war halberd. It was so powerful that he couldn't describe it. Shatter. When the Sky Baron war halberd struck Gong Zibai's war blade, the majestic and heavy intent shattered it. Following that, the force behind the halberd sent Gong Zibai flying. Blood flowed from the corner of Gong Zibai's mouth. Night Sorrow had seriously injured him. Night Sorrow sent out a Sky Baron Nirvana palm with his left hand. He then used the void steps and instantly caught up with Gong Zibai, who was enveloped by the Sky Baron Nirvana palm. He then swung his Sky Baron war halberd. Gong Zibai's body was enveloped by the Sky Baron Nirvana palm spacetime control. He couldn't dodge Night Sorrow's attack. He took out his war blade and raised it to block the Sky Baron war halberd's path towards his head. Pa! Gong Zibai's war blade shattered into pieces once again. The Sky Baron war halberd also landed on Gong Zibai's face. Even though Gong Zibai raised his head to dodge, he still couldn't avoid it. This time, Gong Zibai's mouth was flattened. His teeth flew out and his upper and lower jaw bones were shattered. He fainted on the spot. Since his head was attacked, his spirit sea was naturally affected as well. Originally, Gong Zibai wasn't such a trash. However, he thought that his cultivation base was high. Therefore, he didn't put Night Sorrow in his eyes. After the first exchange, he suffered a great loss and was seriously injured. After Night Sorrow released his domain, he waved the Sky Baron war halberd and joined the chaotic battle. After releasing his domain, Night Sorrow's speed was extremely fast. The Sky Baron war halberd continued to attack. As long as one was hit by the Sky Baron war halberd, they wouldn't have a good ending. The black dragons and flying serpents who were hit felt as if they were smashed by a mountain. They couldn't resist at all. Long Jean also started to kill. He wanted to clean up the clan. The black dragons dared to attack him because they didn't put the Golden Dragon clan in their eyes. They were offending their superiors. The battle went on for the time it took to brew a cup of tea. These monarchs were completely defeated by Night Sorrow and the other two. Long Jean released his bloodline suppression. The black dragons and flying serpents were all suppressed. The suppression came from their souls, causing their strength to be greatly reduced. Although Night Sorrow and the other two's cultivation base were low, they were very good at strength and speed. Therefore, the people that Gong Zibai brought were completely defeated. Because Long Jean killed, except for some who ran away without fighting, the rest were all killed. Night Sorrow sat down with the Sky Baron war halberd and continued to drink tea. Long Jean woke Gong Zibai up. He wanted to teach Gong Zibai a lesson. After waking up, Gong Zibai looked at Night Sorrow, Long Jean, and Tianyu. His eyes were filled with fear because the surroundings were filled with corpses. The black dragons are lawless now. They even dare to offend their superiors. Long Jean slapped Gong Zibai's face with a backhand. Gong Zibai knelt on the ground. Although he couldn't speak, his soul power could vibrate to convey his thoughts. He was begging for mercy and wanted to live. Chapter 1893. Gong Zibai kept kowtowing to the ground, begging for his life. Cheap mouth and soft bones. You are a disgrace, do you know that? Long Jean kicked Gong Zibai's face again. A spineless bastard, Tianyu scolded. He despised people like Gong Zibai the most. I'm a bastard. I'm a piece of trash. Please be merciful. Gong Zibai's soul kept fluctuating. A disgrace. The more Long Jean heard, the angrier he got. He slapped Gong Zibai's head. He couldn't let such a piece of trash live. After collecting the spoils, Tianyu spread his wings and flew with Night Sorrow and Long Jean on his back. Mo Tianji, who had sensed that the halberd wasn't moving, cursed. It wasn't moving, but now it was moving. Was he playing with her? As Tianyu flew, Night Sorrow sat at the top of the Haotian godly pagoda and continued to cultivate in the time acceleration. At the same time, he was refining the halberd. Captain, the halberd is very powerful. Long Jean said to Night Sorrow's doppelganger. He had seen the halberd's destructive power. It destroyed everything it attacked. It was very powerful. It's too heavy. Even if it's 1/3 lighter, I can't use it like an extension of my arm. I can't use some battle skills and techniques. It's too clumsy, Night Sorrow said. When it's completely refined, there won't be such a drawback. Then, Brother 13 will have another divine weapon, Tianyu said while flying. I'm afraid that won't work. The elders of the 100 races value this item very much. They might ask me for it, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. You have to give it to them just because they want it. That doesn't make sense. Besides, you were the one who abandoned the city lord, King Yawu, and the great elder. It's your ability to keep them. You've already done them a favor by finding the remains of the human sovereign. Long Jean didn't want to see Yishang hand over the halberd that he had worked so hard to obtain. Night Sorrow nodded. He wasn't willing to hand it over either. If he could successfully bring it back, he would see how things developed. If the city lord of Heavenly Desolate City, King Yawu, and the great elder asked for it, then he would hand it over. The three of them were giants of the 100 Races Alliance. They were wholeheartedly thinking for the Heaven Realm and had no selfish motives. If others wanted it, then sorry, Yishang would not spoil them. Tianyu and Long Jean flew in turns while Mo Tianji chased after them. The distance between them did not decrease. Instead, it increased. Mo Tianji needed to recover. Knowing that this couldn't go on, Mo Tianji thought for a moment and took out a Peak Demon Wing Race Imperial Emperor from her spatial treasure. Under her guidance, the Demon Wing Race Imperial Emperor flew with the spatial treasure while she recovered. After flying for 2 days, Night Sorrow set up the same trap as before. Then, he set up camp and rested while his main body continued to refine. In just 1 day, Night Sorrow sensed that Mo Tianji was approaching. He hurriedly told Long Jean and Tianyu about the situation. This cunning woman should be the same as us. She let the Demon Wing Race Imperial Emperor fly with her. This way, we can't stay steady even if we want to, said the Golden Dragon. No one was a fool. They immediately guessed. Then we can only keep running and switching between running and stopping. She won't be able to figure out our pattern, said Tianyu. Then I'll have to trouble you too. My refining speed is faster, but according to my estimation, the remaining 2/3 will take half a year, said Night Sorrow. That's nothing. While our main body is cultivating, our doppelgangers will accompany the captain to walk this cunning woman. It's more meaningful, said Long Jean with a smile. Night Sorrow did not turn back to dismantle the teleportation circle, as it might come in handy after making a round. Then, Long Jean carried Night Sorrow and Tianyu and began flying. Night Sorrow, once I catch you, I will drink your blood. Mo Tianji was on the verge of breaking down. She felt as if she was very close to the Sky Wasteland halberd, but she noticed that the Sky Wasteland halberd was moving. GTQ*positive. Version X #_ how many years had it been since Mo Tianji felt like she was about to collapse? What kind of big shot had she not seen before? However, she had never met someone like Night Sorrow who was so good at jumping around. She just couldn't hold him down. Just as she was about to hold him down, he jumped again. Mo Tianji stopped chasing after the battle between Night Sorrow and Gong Zibai. She felt that there was something wrong with her train of thought. If she followed Night Sorrow's train of thought, she would never be able to catch him. Looking at the corpses of the black dragons and flying serpents, Mo Tianji thought of a crucial problem. If she caught up and blocked Night Sorrow, how confident would she be in taking him down? After pondering for a moment, Mo Tianji made a decision. She would cultivate first and increase her cultivation to the Emperor realm. Only then would she be confident in dealing with Night Sorrow. After flying to the other side of the broken sky mountain, Night Sorrow stopped with Long Jean and Tianyu. If she doesn't catch up, we will wait. If she doesn't chase, we will just be running around. Wouldn't that be tiring for us? Then let's set up camp. Captain, Be careful and don't get tricked by her. Long Jin said. Long Jin and Tianyu were also wary of Mo Tianji. Not only was this woman powerful, she was also ruthless and determined. Without noticing that Mo Tianji was chasing after him, Night Sorrow cultivated peacefully. The more time passed, the more advantageous it would be for him. No matter if he refined the Sky Desolation Battle Halberd first or if it was 2 years later, Mo Tianji would fail either way. After 3 months, Night Sorrow had refined 2/3 of the Sky Desolation Battle Halberd. Mo Tianji is really not coming. Has she given up? Tianyu said while drinking the tea that Night Sorrow brewed. She will never give up because the human sovereign's remains and the Sky Desolation Battle Halberd are related to the fate of the Celestial Realm and the Sky Desolation Battle Halberd. In addition, she still wants to deal with me and take back her original body. If she doesn't come now, it won't be a good thing because she might have gone to increase her cultivation. She already has a cultivation realm and what she lacks is energy. When she appears again, it will be a crisis for us. Night Sorrow said. Captain, what you said is too scary. After hearing Night Sorrow's explanation, Long Jin's expression changed. They knew how strong Mo Tianji was now. If she increased her cultivation realm and entered the Emperor realm, the situation would be unimaginable. I'm also thinking about this problem. It's useless to run now. She can sense the Sky Desolation Battle Halberd and can lock onto us at any time. Now, we can only hope that the void purple light snakes can stop her. Perhaps when she increases her cultivation realm, my spacetime attribute can also increase and reach the peak of the Emperor realm. Then, the gap between us will be smaller. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow chose this place to cultivate for a reason. First, the spacetime intent here was very strong. Second, there were many void purple light snakes not too far away. 3 months. In 3 more months, 13th brother will be able to refine the Sky Desolation Battle Halberd. Let's see if we can survive these 3 months. Tianyu said. He knew that this was a great crisis. Time slipped away bit by bit. After 3.5 months, Mo Tianji came out of seclusion. She was a 7-star emperor, which was also the Emperor realm. Chapter 1894. While Mo Tianji was chasing, Night Sorrow's avatar, who was cultivating his spear art, suddenly stopped. His aura and his original body, who was meditating, both rose and underwent some changes. 6-star Emperor, Peak Monarch. Cultivating in the area with the densest spacetime aura, Night Sorrow's spacetime attribute had a breakthrough. He entered the 6-star Emperor realm and his cultivation increased by 1 level. Captain, you have advanced. Long Jin said in surprise. Night Sorrow's cultivation speed was indeed fast. Yes, my spacetime attribute has advanced. My speed has increased and my ability to protect myself has increased. Night Sorrow was also very happy. Night Sorrow had advanced. The 3 brothers naturally drank to celebrate. In the middle of the night, while Long Jin and Tianyu were surprised, Night Sorrow looked behind him and said, that woman is here. After 3.5 months of peace, this woman still came. Ah! Drinking and celebrating won't even let me rest. This is so boring. Tianyu was very unhappy. My cultivation increased at the right time. I originally thought that I could fight her after advancing. However, since she has chased after me, her cultivation must be at the Emperor realm. The difference between us is even greater than before. Night Sorrow said in a low voice. Monarch and Emperor realm was a watershed. Not only in terms of cultivation, but the energy contained in the body was also completely different. Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji's cultivation both increased by 1 level. Mo Tianji's cultivation was still the same, but the energy contained in her body was different. Therefore, Night Sorrow said that the difference was greater than before. 13th brother, let's run then. Tianyu stood up. Night Sorrow nodded. The battle could start at any time. However, in the next 2.5 months, they should focus on refining the Sky Desolate War Halberd. They could not lose the big picture for small gains. Tianyu flew up. Tianyu's divine pagoda stood on his back. Night Sorrow's original body continued refining the sky desolate war halberd at the top of the pagoda. The clone and Long Jin sat upright, thinking about the dangers they might encounter. If he hadn't leveled up, Night Sorrow wouldn't have let Tianyu run away, because it would be very dangerous for him to be caught. If he relied on the purple light snakes near the stronghold just now, there would still be a chance, but it was different now. Night Sorrow admitted that his battle prowess was inferior to Mo Tianji's, but in terms of speed, he was confident. His advancement was in the space-time attribute, and his comprehension of time and space had increased. It was a great help to his speed. Night Sorrow felt that even the Emperor rank Mo Tianji couldn't beat him in speed. At most, they would be on par. There wasn't much difference in speed. What mattered was the energy consumption. Mo Tianji only had one body. Even though it had a lot of energy, it was only about the same as his original body and his doppelganger combined. Under such circumstances, it was important to have good companions. Tianyu and Long Jin were divine beasts that specialized in speed and strength. The imperial emperors under Mo Tianji could not compare to them. While Night Sorrow was analyzing and thinking about the advantages and disadvantages, Mo Tianji felt the sky desolate battle halberd move. This time, Mo Tianji didn't curse because she wasn't afraid that Night Sorrow would run away. Mo Tianji took out a peak imperial emperor from her spatial artifact and let him carry it. Under her guidance, she started to recover. A #forever free look at what little G said, Mo Tianji wasn't in a hurry. As long as her imperial emperors didn't pull away, it would be fine. When the energy in her body recovered, Mo Tianji continued to fly. Her speed was twice as fast as her subordinates. Her plan was to let the imperial emperors fly at full speed to maintain the situation while she chased after them. Mo Tianji's plan was right, but reality wasn't like that. Tianyu and Long Jin weren't peak imperial emperors, but they specialized in speed. Mo Tianji wasn't flying by herself, so she would be left behind. If she flew at full speed, she wouldn't be able to catch up much. Night Sorrow's doppelganger sensed Mo Tianji's situation while his original body was still cultivating. 7 days passed in the chase. How did she know I was close? Is this a premonition of danger? Mo Tianji muttered to herself when she returned to the spatial artifact to recover. She didn't understand Night Sorrow's actions. A while ago, he stopped for 3.5 months. What about now? He didn't stop for 7 days. It was as if he had predicted her actions. Does he have something from my original body? No, if he has something from my original body, he can sense me. Then I can sense it too. But I don't have it now. Mo Tianji thought as she recovered. She denied all the possibilities. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. Night Sorrow had refined the Sky Baron war halberd for 10 months. They had been in the reincarnation space for almost a year. Brother 13, is the refinement going smoothly? Tianyu asked. It's fine. I've started refining the blade of the Sky Baron war halberd. 2 months should be enough. But it's been hard on you and Long Jin. She keeps chasing us, so we can't stop. We can't use the same method as half a year ago. Night Sorrow looked at Long Jin and Tianyu and said. It's nothing. We're just playing with her for 2 more months. Captain, once you refine the Sky Baron war halberd, she won't be able to sense it. She won't be able to chase us. We'll find a place to stay for a few months. Then, we can safely return to the celestial realm. Long Jin said indifferently. In the long life of a cultivator, 2 months was nothing. The distance between them kept shrinking. After all, Mo Tianji was an emperor. When she flew, she could shorten the distance by quite a bit. Tian Mo Tianji caught up. When she saw Night Sorrow's situation, she immediately understood why it was so hard to chase him. It was because the 2 divine beasts were taking turns. Their speed was naturally incomparably fast. Mo Tianji caught up. Night Sorrow didn't notice it at first because the difference between his soul power and Emotienji's was not small. However, as the distance kept shrinking, Night Sorrow noticed Emotienji. He also knew the reason why Emotienji could catch up. She was fast and her subordinates were flying hard to maintain the advantage. When Tianyu needed to be replaced, Night Sorrow put Tianyu and Long Jin into the Clear Sky Pagoda. His doppelganger dragged the Clear Sky Pagoda and then used the Void Step to fly. He wanted to see the difference in speed between him and Emotienji. The advancement of the spacetime attribute greatly increased the power of Night Sorrow's Void Step. It was as if he was walking casually. However, every step he took covered a large distance. He wasn't any slower than Emotienji with her white hair fluttering in the wind. Damn it! After being surprised by Night Sorrow's speed, Emotienji noticed that Night Sorrow's cultivation had increased. She increased her cultivation by 1 level and so did Night Sorrow. The distance between them didn't shrink at all. When Night Sorrow felt that his doppelganger couldn't hold on any longer and needed to recover, it had already been 2 days. He was forcefully holding on. When his body couldn't hold on any longer, Night Sorrow let Tianyu, who was best at speed, carry the Clear Sky Pagoda and his main body. Chapter 1895. Night Sorrow was recovering under the Haotian Pagoda's 50-fold time acceleration. Night Sorrow could recover to his peak state in 4 hours. 4 hours in the Haotian Godly Pagoda was only half a cup of tea's time in the real world. Emotienji noticed the appearance of Night Sorrow at his peak state, but she was still a bit away from full recovery. Anger, Emotienji was furious. She had seen Night Sorrow's speed and his recovery speed. She understood that it would be very difficult to catch up to Night Sorrow. Moreover, almost a year had passed. Another year would be a foregone conclusion. Night Sorrow, let's talk. Emotienji shouted after appearing. Her voice traveled through space for tens of thousands of miles. Night Sorrow naturally heard it. Talk. From the big picture, the celestial realm and Tianhuang are enemies. From a personal point of view, my master died because of you, so there is no room for discussion between us. Night Sorrow's voice also traveled behind him. Can't you be more reasonable? Your master Yen Wushuang touched the God Annihilation Tribulation herself. After her body was destroyed, she came to Tianhuang to cause trouble. She killed countless experts and trapped me for countless years. Who is whose enemy? Emotienji was very angry after hearing Night Sorrow's words because she was the victim. Not only had she been trapped by Yen Wushuang for countless years, her true body had also been taken away by Yi Chang. As for whether she had been touched or not, she wasn't sure. Although she wasn't a man, she knew how tempting her body was to men. What you said makes sense, but I saw it with my own eyes. Because of you, Master Wushuang's soul was completely destroyed. Therefore, I can't let this go. Night Sorrow was taken aback after hearing Emotienji's words. According to her, she was indeed the victim. Tell me, what do you want for me to return my true body? Emotienji asked. Emotienji, I'm the virtuous emperor of the human race. Of course, I'm thinking for the celestial realm. If I let you recover, I'll be helping the evildoers. Let me tell you the truth. Don't talk to me. I don't intend to lie to you, Night Sorrow said. Emotienji didn't say anything. Although she was angry, she couldn't scold Night Sorrow even if she wanted to. The chase was still going on, and Night Sorrow's original body continued to refine the Infinite Wasteland War Halberd. In other words, if this stalemate continued, Night Sorrow would have the upper hand. The feeling of helplessness was very strong. Emotienji didn't expect to be unable to change the situation even after reaching the emperor rank. She felt that luck wasn't on her side. Night Sorrow's advancement came at the wrong time. Emotienji, whether you chase or not, the result will be the same. I won't hide it from you. The Emperor's remains and the Infinite Wasteland War Halberd are both in my hands. The future of the Infinite Wasteland will definitely not be as good as the human race. Just go back where you came from. After Night Sorrow recovered, he stood behind Tianyu and yelled at Mo Tianji, who was chasing after him. Survival of the fittest. This is a principle that hasn't changed since ancient times. The devil-winged race has to fight for a reason. From today onwards, I, Mo Tianji, will treat you, Night Sorrow, as a true opponent. Mo Tianji calmed down. Good. Respecting the opponent is the attitude a cultivator should have. Night Sorrow's heart shook. An angry Mo Tianji might be scary, but when she calmed down, she was truly scary. If the early stage Emperor rank isn't enough, then I'll reach the middle stage Emperor rank before catching you. You can still be carefree for half a year. After chasing around Broken Sky Mountain for half a month, Mo Tianji stopped because it was useless. Night Sorrow's speed was the same as hers. In terms of support strength, Tianyu and Long Jin were faster than her emperors. Mo Tianji made this decision after careful consideration. If there was a problem, she had to think of a way to solve it. Stubbornly resisting wasn't the way to solve the problem. Mo Tianji estimated that if she desperately raised her cultivation by 1 rank, she would need half a year. This meant that she still had close to half a year to deal with Night Sorrow. When Mo Tianji stopped chasing, Night Sorrow let out a breath of relief and continued to fly. After flying half a circle, he found a place with dense void energy. Night Sorrow stopped and set up an illusion array at the new stronghold before setting up a teleportation array for retreat. 13th brother, she gave us half a year. Isn't she worried you'll refine the Sky Desolate War Halberd? Tianyu finished setting up the tent and said. The Sky Desolate War Halberd has been in my hands for 10 months. She thinks I won't be able to refine it. Then again, if she doesn't raise her cultivation, what can she do even if she's worried? Night Sorrow glanced at the main body that was still trying to refine the Sky Desolate War Halberd. This was the truth. If Mo Tianji didn't raise her cultivation, what was the point of worrying? With his doppelganger on guard, Night Sorrow's main body was refining the Sky Desolate War Halberd at full speed. At the same time, he was researching how to raise the void and destruction attributes. Mo Tianji really needed to cultivate. She wanted to use her middle stage Emperor rank cultivation to deal with Night Sorrow. In the second month of peace, Night Sorrow's virtuous flames and soul power had been refined to the core region of the Sky Desolate War Halberd. Night Sorrow was very excited. The Sky Desolate War Halberd was very close to being completely refined. As long as the final region of the Sky Desolate War Halberd was refined, the xenogenic aura within the Sky Desolate War Halberd would be gone. What was left was his soul aura. Just as Yishang's heart was filled with joy, an incomparably tyrannical aura that could crush everything appeared. It was a black energy. It should be a soul force of the destruction attribute. Yishang even felt that the attribute of this soul force had already surpassed the tyrannical nature of the destruction attribute. This black soul power left the Sky Desolate War Halberd and charged towards Night Sorrow's Divine Sea. Origin Pearl Protect Body. Night Sorrow roared. A purple halo appeared above his head. This was the energy of the 9-region Origin Pearl. At the same time, Night Sorrow activated the light of virtue in his Divine Sea and mixed it with his soul power. He cast Soul Rhythm, which was the soul defense absolute art he learned in the Sky Desolate Tower. This black soul power charged towards Night Sorrow's Divine Sea twice. However, it was repelled by Night Sorrow's light of virtue and soul power. Virtuous Flames. Chapter T Section. Up. Night Sorrow released his virtuous territory and then activated the Human Emperor's seal. He unleashed the virtuous fire. The area within a radius of several feet around him was instantly filled with golden flames. After the golden flames appeared, they wrapped around this soul power and began to burn it. This soul power was even more tyrannical than the void purple light snake. Night Sorrow's domain suppression effect was not very strong. It circled around Night Sorrow's Divine Sea and attacked him. Night Sorrow used all of his power to activate the 9-region Origin Pearl's defense. His soul power and light of virtue combined to cast a soul defense absolute art. He blocked the invasion of this soul power. At the same time, the human emperor's seal's virtuous flames burned this soul power. Chapter 1896. Knight Soro's doppelganger put Long Jin and Tianyu into the Hao Tian Tower. He could hold on, but if the soul power attacked Long Jin and Tianyu, it would be a big problem. After putting away Tianyu and Long Jin, Knight Soro's doppelganger merged with his real body. The Green Lotus Jade Ring went to his spirit sea, giving him another layer of soul defense. The battle was still in a stalemate. Knight Soro was defending very well, but the soul power looked tired. Without a body to support it, the soul power was like a rootless duckweed. Feeling the exhaustion of the soul power, Knight Soro increased the power of the human king's seal to keep the fire of virtue burning. After the time it took to drink a cup of tea, the black soul power could not hold on any longer. Like the purple snake, it teleported away. Knight Soro's forehead was covered in sweat. He knew it was because he had a soul defense treasure and a light of virtue. Otherwise, his spirit sea would have been broken. What happened to Brother 13? Tianyu, who had been teleported out of the Hao Tian Tower by Knight Soro, asked. I almost died. Sky Baron Halberd has a soul fragment. It must belong to the demon Alpha. Knight Soro waved the Sky Baron Halberd, and it felt completely different. The fire of soul had completely refined it, and there was no longer any xenogenic presence inside. Mo Tianji, who was meditating in a quiet place, stood up. She looked very surprised because the hair around her finger was flickering. It became very unstable, and then the light dimmed. Mo Tianji looked at the hair around her finger, and then she used the weak light to fly. If she could not guess that something was wrong with the Sky Baron Halberd, she would be an idiot. After flying for a day, a black soul power appeared. Before Mo Tianji could react, it went into the 2 strands of hair around her finger. After that, the 2 strands of hair around Mo Tianji's finger disappeared. Everything returned to silence. There was no more movement. Zr. Mo Tianji's expression became ugly because she couldn't sense the halberd. This meant that Knight Soro had refined the halberd. The demon ancestor's soul fragment was able to force out the Sky Desolation War halberd. This explained the problem. He had lost. Mo Tianji understood that she had lost this trip to the reincarnation battlefield. She had lost thoroughly. She was able to determine where the Sky Wasteland halberd was, but she failed to snatch it back. Now that she was unable to determine its location, how could she snatch it back? There was no chance at all. Letting out a breath, Mo Tianji made a decision. She would not tangle with Knight Soro for the time being. She should focus on her cultivation. She only had one body, and Knight Soro's clone and true body were both here. She had no advantage in a fight. Knight Soro was in a very good mood. The Sky Wasteland halberd no longer had the xenogenic aura, so he could wield it freely. He could also store it in the Hao Tian Godly Pagoda. Brother 13, have you finished refining it? Tianyu asked happily. Refining complete. Knight Soro nodded. Long Jin patted Knight Soro's shoulder. He was happy for Knight Soro, too. Then we can meet up with the others. The mission was completed perfectly. When the time is up, we can return, Tianyu said. My clone will go with you. I still have work to do, Knight Soro said. He still had some ideas. Knight Soro planned to go to the place with the most void purple light snakes. He wanted to capture more of them, as they were pure void energy. The other area had a strong void will. If he practiced there, his void will would increase with half the effort. There were still 10 months left, and he could raise his cultivation. That's fine. Captain refined the Sky Wasteland halberd. Mo Tianji will not be able to find Captain, so we should be safe. Long Jin was relieved. Then, Knight Soro's original body left with the Haotian Godly Pagoda. His clone, Tianyu, and Long Jin headed to the hidden stronghold. After Knight Soro's clone met up with the soldiers of the First Army, everyone was very happy. They had not seen Knight Soro for a while. Everyone was worried about Knight Soro. Thank you, everyone. I've made you worry. The environment here is good. It's suitable for comprehending the heaven and earth will. You can cultivate however you want, Night Sorrow said. Then, he went to set up 2 teleportation formations. After knowing Mo Tianji's strength, Night Sorrow had to be careful. If Mo Tianji, who had cultivated to the 8-star Emperor realm, happened to run into them, it would be dangerous. They had to have a perfect plan to retreat. After setting up 2 hidden aces that could retreat at any time, Night Sorrow returned to the stronghold and perfected a few of his ultimate techniques. Night Sorrow's original body carried 2 weapons. One was the Sky Wasteland Halberd, and the other was the Reincarnation Spear. Night Sorrow really liked the Sky Wasteland Halberd. Domineering. When he wielded it, the feeling of destroying something was very comfortable. When he reached the place where the void purple light snakes gathered, Night Sorrow began to fight. The void purple light snakes contained very dense void energy. To Night Sorrow, it was a great supplement. It was very helpful to increase his void energy. After using his virtue domain to suppress the void purple light snake's speed, Yishang took out his reincarnation spear. Stabbing, slashing, and slashing, every move he made was able to kill the void purple light snake. After killing it, Yishang's soul power revolved and absorbed the energy into the human emperor's seal. In half a day, Night Sorrow killed his way into the depths of the mountain. The number of void purple light snakes didn't decrease. Instead, there were more of them. One day later, Night Sorrow killed his way into a special area of the broken mountain. Cracks and destructive whirlpools constantly appeared in the sky. The cracks were filled with black destructive energy and purple void energy. The manifestation of the will of heaven and earth was also very intense. At this moment, Night Sorrow understood why there were so many void purple light snakes in this area. It was because the void energy here was very dense. As for why there weren't any destruction attributed demonic beasts, it was very simple. This area was already occupied by the void purple light snakes. Even if there were destruction attributed demonic beasts, they wouldn't be able to gain a foothold here. Night Sorrow wanted to cultivate, but with countless void purple light snakes around, he couldn't calm down. He couldn't kill them all. This gave Yishang a bit of a headache. He would never give up on this treasured land. After looking around, Night Sorrow found a problem. There were no void purple light snakes in the area where the destructive energy was erupting. The void purple light snakes were usually in places where the void energy was denser. Night Sorrow arrived at the boundary between the destructive space crack and the void space crack. He took out the Haotian godly pagoda and enlarged it to a height of 300 meters. His body then flashed and landed on the top of the pagoda. After observing for a while and confirming that the void purple light snakes wouldn't disturb him, he sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. Everything quieted down. Mo Tianji gave up on looking for Night Sorrow and continued to improve her cultivation. The black dragons and the few remaining members of the Flying Serpent clan ran to a secluded place and hid. Gong Zibai and most of the members were killed. They couldn't do anything. Night Sorrow's doppelganger cultivated the lost art while protecting the members of the First Army. Chapter 1897. The city lord, King Yawu, and the Grand Elder were elated when they heard that Night Sorrow had completely refined the Sky Baron halberd. Although they had only heard Lin Piaomiao's report, they knew what kind of danger Yishan was facing. That was the danger of Mo Tianji being able to lock onto a target and chase after them. The problem of the Sky Baron halberd has been solved. Hide well and wait for the reincarnation battlefield to appear, the city lord said. When the reincarnation battlefield appears, please inform me first. Tell him not to let the experts of the Demon Wings clan enter first and bring danger to him, Lin Piaomiao said. Okay, I'll go in first. He has completed his task in the reincarnation battlefield and waited for the reincarnation battlefield to appear. He has done what he should do. If we still let him take the risk, it will be our incompetence, the city lord said. He had made up his mind to go to the reincarnation battlefield as soon as possible. By the way, the Sky Baron halberd has been completely refined by Night Sorrow. What do you plan to do? If the city lord wants the Sky Baron halberd, he won't recognize you as its master. Otherwise, he will recognize you as its master. This way, he will have more strength, Lin Piaomiao said. This was not Night Sorrow's idea. She was asking for her husband. The three of us asked him to abandon it. This is his choice. His safety and the remains of the human sovereign are more important than anything else. He persevered for a year while being chased and got the Sky Baron halberd. This is the result of his hard work. No one can take it away from him. It's a good thing that the Sky Baron halberd is not in the hands of the Demon Wings clan. We are willing to see it in his hands, the city lord said. Then I'll let him know. This time around, he was truly in a life and death struggle. Thankfully, his cultivation base had advanced in time and he had completed the refinement in time. Otherwise, his life would have been in danger. Lin Piaomiao felt a lingering fear as she thought about it. The three had been learning about Yi Shang's situation through Lin Piaomiao. They knew that Mo Tianji had increased her cultivation, and after failing to kill Yi Shang, she had to increase her cultivation again before killing Yi Shang. Therefore, they knew that Yi Shang was in danger. Both intelligent and courageous, daring to fight and fight. Only with such perseverance and tenacity can the impossible become possible. If it were someone else, the infinite desolate war halberd would have already changed hands. The Grand Elder sighed. Then, King Yewu asked about the Humanitarian League and Lin Piaomiao gave him a brief introduction. Currently, the Humanitarian League was under the command of Pu Luo and Fen Tian. Ruiz and Yuzhu returned to their lair to increase their strength. The Great Demon King returned to his own domain. His true body needed to cultivate while his avatar reorganized the domain. The Grand Elder and the other two nodded. They valued the Humanitarian League very much and did not want the Humanitarian League to go astray. Then, the Grand Elder asked about Lin Piaomiao's situation. Lin Piaomiao's true body had been cultivating with the help of a spatial treasure. She had even passed the 7 calamities of the heavenly law. The 9 calamities of the heavenly law is a hurdle, but it's not a big problem for you. You have to do it steadily. King Yewu said. Thank you for your concern. I'll be careful. Lin Piaomiao nodded. In the evil Punisher land, Datura floated out of the Yellow Spring River. Seeing Datura, Lin Piaomiao's true body came out of the glazed pagoda. Seeing Datura, Lin Piaomiao was shocked. Her cultivation had increased too quickly. She had surpassed the 2-star Emperor realm and went from the 1-star Emperor realm to the 3-star Emperor realm. How's Night Sorrow's situation now? Datura asked. Very good. He'll be back in less than a year. You're a little too domineering. You went into seclusion to gain enlightenment and you increased your cultivation by 2 levels. Lin Piaomiao pulled Datura into the glazed pagoda and brewed a pot of tea. The Yellow Spring River is very suitable for my cultivation. Sister Xian, you have to keep this place open to me. I don't even need to deduce anything inside. I just need to absorb and comprehend the laws of heaven and earth. Just now, a huge skeleton of a demonic beast appeared in the Yellow Spring River and woke me up. I'll continue cultivating later. Datura said. Your talent is really enviable. Don't worry. If you like it, I can even give you the evil Punisher land. Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. Thank you, Sister Xian, Datura raised his teacup at Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao smiled. She was very happy to be able to get along with Night Sorrow's wives like sisters. After chatting with Lin Piaomiao for a while, Datura entered the Yellow Spring River again. She had an extreme desire for strength. She wanted to fight side by side with Night Sorrow. Lin Piaomiao also started cultivating. She hoped that when Night Sorrow needed help, she could help Night Sorrow. Lin Piaomiao's clone returned to the ethereal imperial city from the heaven desolate city and met Wufeng. Wufeng was planning to go to the 9 domains world to meet Night Sorrow. A few days ago, he went to meet the god-slaying team led by Sandalwood. The members of the god-slaying team cultivated very quickly. There was no problem for them to increase their cultivation level. However, they didn't have enough resources. This is a good thing. I'm just afraid that they won't be able to use up the resources. Here are 10 million Saint Spirit stones. Give it to them. Also, go and find Elder Lan. Give them some elixirs. Lin Piaomiao said to Wu Feng. As Night Sorrow's wife, Lin Piaomiao naturally knew how much Night Sorrow cared about their relationship and how much he wanted his brothers to rise. She didn't need to tell Night Sorrow anything that she could solve. Wu Feng went to work while Lin Piaomiao went to the Nine Domains world. In the city in the sky of the Nine Domains world, Night Sorrow was guiding the children in their cultivation. Seeing Lin Piaomiao's arrival, the children all left, leaving Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao alone to talk. After chatting with Night Sorrow about the situation outside, Lin Piaomiao told him about the arrangement of the Heaven Desolate City's City Lord and the other two for the Heaven Desolate War Halberd. That's great. I really like that weapon. It has a completely different feeling from the reincarnation spear. Night Sorrow said. When you come back, study it and see if you can fuse the two weapons. Lin Piaomiao suggested. I won't fuse them for now. The reincarnation spear has its own advantages while the Heaven Desolate War Halberd has its own dominance. When my cultivation level increases, I might be able to create a unique skill that belongs to the Heaven Desolate War Halberd. Night Sorrow said. As time passed, Night Sorrow's cultivation level continued to increase. This time, it was the destruction and nothingness attributes that increased. It could even be said that Night Sorrow's doppelganger couldn't sense his original body anymore. This was the phenomenon after entering a state of enlightenment. To cultivators, such a state was a dream to increase their cultivation level. Chapter 1898. To be honest, we didn't do anything when we came in. Zhuodong came to Night Sorrow and poured a glass of water for himself as he spoke. That's all I can do. The soldiers of the First Army would find a safe place to cultivate their realms while their clones would gather together to cultivate their battle techniques. I can only say that this operation isn't suitable for a team battle. The void purple light snake is a problem that the team can't deal with. Besides, when Mo Tianji appears again, she might be a middle-class emperor. She chased me for over a year as a low-class emperor. How are we going to fight her when she's a middle-class emperor? Can we fight above our ranks? She's the one who can fight above her level. Her realm is high, and we can't compare to her. We're no match for her even if we're at the same level. If she fights with a higher cultivation, we have no hope at all, said Yishan. I know. I'm not complaining. I just feel embarrassed. Those who could have been defeated were killed by you and the rest are not. Zhuodong smiled bitterly. The Black Dragon clan's team ran into Long Jin. They were unlucky. After being suppressed by Long Jin's bloodline, they didn't have much strength. It was a one-sided massacre, Yishang explained. Young Master Bai's team was indeed unlucky. If they had encountered the sergeants of the First Army, they would have had a 50% chance of winning. However, they were unlucky to have encountered Long Jin. The Black Dragon race's bloodline was suppressed, and so was the Flying Serpent race's bloodline. Their strength was greatly reduced, and Night Sorrow, Long Jin, and Tian Yu were ruthless characters, so they were naturally killed. Captain, can't you slow down your cultivation? You're a 6-star emperor now. If you go up another rank, the First Army will have no captain. Don't become the captain with the shortest time. Chong Jiu said. I'm afraid I can't cultivate slower. However, we can talk to the Grand Elder. It's fine for an emperor to be the captain of the First Army, right? Rules are dead, but people are alive. Night Sorrow said. Chong Jiu nodded. The captain of the First Army had been walking back and forth, causing the First Army to be unstable. In the 20th month of the reincarnation battlefield's opening, Mo Tianji entered the 8th star emperor rank under the acceleration of the time treasure, which was the middle-class emperor rank. It felt good to recover some of her power, but Mo Tianji was not happy. She had come too late, and she could not find Night Sorrow. The reincarnation battlefield was so big. Even if they kept moving, the chances of meeting each other were very low. If Night Sorrow wanted to hide, she would not be able to find him. Mo Tianji let out a sigh of relief. She didn't plan to look for it anymore. If it was her, she would definitely hide and wait for the reincarnation battlefield to appear. Mo Tianji also had some things to do. She needed to go to Demon Mountain. The dragon-headed people and snake-headed people there had the bloodline of the demon-winged race. After countless years of reproduction, they were already very powerful. The demon-winged race needed them. When they first entered the reincarnation battlefield, Missouri Tianji was in a hurry to find the Sky Desolation halberd, so she didn't go to Demon Mountain. In addition, her cultivation was not enough at that time. She was worried that the dragon-headed people and snake-headed people's progenitors would not be convinced. A 6-star emperor rank cultivation was not enough. If the dragon-headed people and snake-headed people's progenitors rebelled, she would be courting death. However, it was different now. She had cultivated to the 8th-star emperor rank and possessed the pure noble soul of the demon-winged race. She had a natural suppression against the dragon-headed people and snake-headed people. Therefore, she was confident. Night Sorrow didn't know about this. His original body was still in a state of enlightenment. He was constantly absorbing the void and destruction heavenly Tao's momentum to strengthen his cultivation. Because of the destruction heavenly Tao's momentum, the void purple light snake didn't go forward either because it didn't like this kind of aura. The reincarnation battlefield's appearance was getting closer and closer. The soldiers of the First Army were still cultivating. Night Sorrow told Lin Piaomiao to inform him when the reincarnation battlefield was out of the Nirvana Ocean and could tear open the spatial barrier to return. He wanted the soldiers of the First Army to leave immediately. Captain, our cultivation speed is very fast here. Can't we stay here for a few more days? Zhuo Dong asked. No, we must leave as soon as we can. This is an order. Night Sorrow looked at Zhuo Dong and said. I don't understand. White Meng Meng said. White Meng Meng, I think you are a little confused. The reincarnation battlefield is about to appear. The giants of various forces will definitely come here. What kind of place will this be? It's a super battlefield. We are all trash and will die if we are swept by the aftermath of the battle. When the experts of the demon-winged race come here, they will sweep us with their soul power and we won't be able to hide. Then, they will make 2 more moves and... Night Sorrow looked at White Meng Meng and said. It's too scary. Let's go. We have to go. White Meng Meng shrunk her neck. We didn't expect this. It's indeed scary. They will come here immediately. We have to leave as soon as possible. We can't be hit or caught by them. Zhuo Dong realized the seriousness of the problem. When the time is up, I will tear the space apart with my space magic treasure. We will run away. Night Sorrow said. Brother Shirsan, your original body should come back as soon as possible. Tianyu said. My original body is staying in a good place. The environment there is bad, and no one will go there easily. The main thing is that my original body is in an epiphany. I can't stop. Besides, I am alone. I am not afraid. I practice the properties of nothingness and spacetime, and I am good at surviving in the turbulence of space. I will go back after I finish my epiphany. Night Sorrow said. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Zhuo Dong and the others tried to persuade him but didn't say anything. Long Jin and Tian Yu simply didn't try to persuade him. They both understood Yi Shan. Yi Shan would never let go of such an opportunity to increase his strength. No one could persuade him otherwise. After making the plan, Night Sorrow practiced his spear skills every day. He was thinking about a new unique skill that was suitable for the infinite halberd. Considering the power of the infinite wasteland halberd that could destroy everything, Night Sorrow felt that it could be used as a unique technique. Night Sorrow focused on cultivating the primeval spear art. He then fused the vibration energy and wave energy into the primeval spear art. ZPF on 7. The sergeants of the First Army couldn't understand Night Sorrow's cultivation, but they could feel the power of Night Sorrow's spear art. Ripples constantly appeared around Night Sorrow's body. The ripples spread in all directions, sometimes causing the space to scream. It won't be long before 13th brother has a new lost art. I'm so envious, Tianyu said to Long Jin, who was standing beside him. Our talent might be higher than his, but his hard work has completely made up for it. His comprehension ability is incomparable to ours. Didn't you notice that some of the things he used were researched by himself? Long Jin said. Chapter 1899. Long Jin and Tianyu looked at Night Sorrow and understood after thinking for a while. They were both Imperial Emperor realm cultivators. There were some things that they just didn't think of, but it wasn't that they couldn't understand. Then, in the tent, Night Sorrow wrote down his soul rhythm absolute art and gave it to Long Jin and Tianyu. Brother 13, is this an absolute art? Tianyu said in surprise as he held the handwritten copy of the soul defense absolute art that Night Sorrow had written. Is it important? Is it more important than you? Night Sorrow smiled. Long Jin put away the manual and was still thinking about Night Sorrow's words. He felt that dragon traversing 9 heavens was a little awkward. Could it be changed? Long Jin, you have the same attribute as me. We are both of the void attribute. You can study the spear technique that I cultivate and use it as a reference to perfect your saber technique, Night Sorrow said to Long Jin. My void attribute isn't complete. Actually, it's too rare for a complete supreme attribute to appear in this world. Even my uncle isn't one, Long Jin said. It's not important whether it's complete or not. We can slowly deduce it. Take a look at my understanding of the void attribute first. Night Sorrow stabbed out with his finger and executed the void extreme point kill. Then, he explained the essence of the void attribute using a point to explode. Then, he executed the void origin kill. The concepts of these two moves are completely opposite, but they seem to be related, Long Jin said after thinking for a while. Night Sorrow nodded. Then, he stabbed out with his finger and executed the void origin kill first before connecting it with the void origin kill. I feel guilty. Captain, you spent a lot of time and effort to come up with this technique. I'm just taking it, Long Jin said. We are brothers. Let's not talk about this. Tianyu, I have a spacetime attribute defensive absolute art here. Whether you can cultivate it or not depends on you. Even if you can't cultivate it, it's good to use it as a reference, Night Sorrow said to Tianyu. Yes, if I can't cultivate it, I'll use it as a reference. Tianyu nodded. Night Sorrow told Tianyu about the principles of cultivation in the spacetime realm. Tianyu's cultivation direction was the spacetime attribute. However, Night Sorrow's spacetime realm absolute art was not only of the spacetime attribute but also of the void attribute. It was slightly different from the one used by the soul body in the Wasteland Tower. Long Jin and Tianyu didn't say anything more. They remembered Night Sorrow's brotherly love for them. I'm a little busy right now. If you have time, you should go visit the other brothers of the God-slaying squad. I wonder how Liang Yu and Yun Huang are doing. Night Sorrow missed his brothers. It won't be a problem for Liang Yu and Yun Huang to enter the Emperor realm. It will probably take some time. The others are also working very hard. Yun Huang's nether wolf is very powerful. Its cultivation is almost on par with his. Its battle moves are also very shameless. That thing can control people's bodies. Tianyu said. It's been a long time since we last chatted. I really do miss them, Night Sorrow said in a low voice. H update plus new plus fast plus D8 Long Jin and Tianyu patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. They knew that Night Sorrow was a sentimental person. No matter what level his strength and status were, he would never forget his old brothers. Time passed slowly. The time of the reincarnation battlefield's appearance was getting closer and closer. The experts of the 100 Races Alliance and the Demon Wing clan were preparing to enter immediately. They would kill the other party's vanguard if they had the chance. Other than that, they would pick up their own people. The black dragons weren't prepared because the black dragon still didn't have the ability to fight head-on. His original body hadn't woken up. Night Sorrow knew that his original body would end his epiphany before he returned. His plan to return together had failed. He could only carry out the second plan. His original body would continue to stay there and cultivate. If the situation wasn't good, he would tear open space and return alone. Of course, this wasn't a bad thing. The longer he stayed in his epiphany, the higher his cultivation level would be. One had to know that his original body was undergoing a time acceleration of 30 times. An extra month of cultivation would be 2 years. On this day, Lin Piaomiao, who was at Night Sorrow's residence in Desolate City, received a message from the Grand Elder. In half a day, the reincarnation battlefield would appear in Nirvana Ocean. At that time, Night Sorrow would have to bring his people back immediately. The Desolate City Lord would go to the reincarnation battlefield directly. King Yewu would also send out 2 clones. One would accompany the Desolate City Lord into the reincarnation battlefield, while the other would patrol the Nirvana Ocean and wait for Night Sorrow's group. Lin Piaomiao immediately returned to the 9-domain world and informed Night Sorrow's clone of the situation. After receiving the news, Night Sorrow gathered the people of the First Army. This time, we faced a lot of danger. The only thing left is to avoid being attacked by the demon-winged race on the way back. It's out of our control. Before entering, the Grand Elder had told Night Sorrow and the others that 2 years later, when the reincarnation battlefield trembled violently, they could tear open the space barrier and pass through the space turbulence to arrive above the celestial realm's Nirvana Ocean. Then, they could fly back to the celestial realm by following the feeling of attraction. The reincarnation battlefield was an independent space world. Before it appeared, it was at the bottom of the Nirvana Ocean. After it appeared, the reincarnation battlefield would appear in an independent space above the Nirvana Ocean. After tearing open space and arriving above the Nirvana Ocean, one would be able to sense the affinity between the Desolate City Lord and the celestial realm. Then, they could fly back. What they needed to pay attention to was interceptions. Now, Night Sorrow's main concern was to avoid being intercepted. Then, everything would be safe. Captain, don't think too much about these things. We've tried our best. If we're unlucky enough to be intercepted, it's our bad luck, Zhuo Dong said. Alright. Let's enter the space world. Night Sorrow put everyone into the 8-dragon cauldron. Then, he flew for a distance and dismantled the 2 dark hand teleportation formations. The interrealm teleportation formation stones could not be wasted. After doing all this, Night Sorrow held the Bloodkirin evil-slaying spear and looked at the sky quietly. At this moment, Mo Tianji was standing in front of a mountain in the Devil Mountain region. Behind her was a group of dragon-headed and snake-headed people. In a moment, all you need to do is enter my spatial Dharma treasure. Mo Tianji looked at the space treasure in her hand and said. It was given to her by the dragon-headed ancestor, not Mo Tianji. Don't worry, Tianji, an old man with white hair and beard said. At this moment, the space trembled. Mo Tianji's white hair whipped out and shattered the space. Then, she waved her hand and put all the dragon-headed and snake-headed people into her space treasure. Then, she entered the space turbulence. In another direction, Night Sorrow pierced through the space barrier with his spear and entered the space turbulence. In the space turbulence, the energy surged violently. However, it was chaotic and not very aggressive. Night Sorrow used the space ren to increase his speed. After a while, Night Sorrow found the space barrier. Once again, he tore it apart with his spear. Night Sorrow entered the 8-dragon cauldron and controlled it to pass through the space barrier and arrive above the Nirvana Ocean. Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow heard the shout as soon as he appeared in the celestial realm. Chapter 1900. Martial Uncle. Night Sorrow appeared. Originally, he planned to dive into the Nirvana Ocean to observe the situation and avoid jumping into the enemy's trap. Didn't they run into someone who was waiting for them? Fortunately, they were on the same side. You're quite cautious. Why is it a clone? King Yewu's energy wrapped around Night Sorrow and started flying. Night Sorrow told King Yewu about his main body's situation. Are you sure that area is safe? King Yewu was a little worried. Before this, he didn't know that Night Sorrow's main body was in a state of enlightenment. It's safe. The surrounding tens of thousands of kilometers is filled with void violet light serpents. It's also filled with spatial tears and disillusionment vortexes. Soul probing is greatly restricted. No one would be so bored as to run in there, Night Sorrow said. That's good. The devil-winged race and the black dragons might return after receiving their men. Enter the land of reincarnation to fight? We're not afraid of fighting early, but they might not be able to, King Yewu said in a low voice. King Yewu's location was very accurate. It was the location determined by the City Lord's great prophecy technique. King Yewu and Night Sorrow returned to the City of Desolation. His other clone and the City Lord had already entered the reincarnation battlefield. Night Sorrow transferred everyone out of the 8-dragon cauldron and told them to return to their encampment to rest. Mo Tianji left the reincarnation battlefield in another direction and met Mo Yutian and Mo Zhantian. They were here to receive Mo Tianji. Mo Tianji gave the spatial treasure that the dragon-headed ancestor gave her to Mo Yutian. Then, she transferred everyone out of her spatial treasure for Mo Yutian to bring back. Tianji, what are you trying to do? Mo Yutian asked. Let's make it short. I'm going to the celestial realm because there are some problems that need to be solved. Mo Tianji quickly explained why she wanted to go to the celestial realm. Right now, they have a blockade. However, because the Nirvana Ocean is currently in a state of chaos, the blockade isn't too tight. Follow this direction. Although it's a little far, it's still relatively safe. Mo Yutian didn't try to persuade Mo Tianji. Now was indeed a good time to sneak into the celestial realm. Mo Tianji flashed and left. She had to make the best use of her time. Once the Nirvana storm on the Nirvana Sea recovered, it would be difficult to enter the celestial realm again. Watching Mo Tianji leave, Mo Yutian and Mo Zhantian looked at each other. They had no choice but to let Mo Tianji take the risk. She had a reason to go to the celestial realm, whether it was for public or private reasons. After the black dragons and flying serpents appeared, they ran towards the celestial realm. They were running for their lives. Mo Tianji, who was flying over the Nirvana Ocean, took out a special cloak and covered her body and hair. She maintained a distance from the black dragons as she flew. She knew that the black dragons and the Celestial Realms 100 Races Alliance didn't get along well. However, the 100 Races Alliance hadn't reached the point of killing the black dragons yet. After flying for a while, Mo Tianji changed her direction and blended into the same area as the black dragons. She was trying to avoid the blockade of the Celestial Realm by the 100 Races Alliance. Now, she was changing her direction to avoid being discovered by the black dragons. Night Sorrow returned to his residence. Pu Luo and Fen Tian were very happy to see Night Sorrow. Where are the Great Demon King, Yu Zhu, and Ruisi? Night Sorrow asked after sitting down. During your absence, the Humanitarian League sought stability. The Great Demon King was preparing to undergo the heavenly tribulation. Ruisi and Yu Zhu also went back to increase their strength. Knowing that you're back, they'll be here soon, Pu Luo said. Then I'm relieved. Night Sorrow nodded. There's one more thing. Not far from the ethereal Imperial City's Night Moon Villa, there's a woman who has concealed her aura. She has been monitoring the Night Moon Villa. I observed her from afar and confirmed that she speaks the dragon language, Lin Piaomiao said. The dragon language has appeared. Let's not mention this to anyone else. I'll go back and take a look, Night Sorrow said. When it came to the black dragons, things were more serious. The banishment last time was an example. Night Sorrow hated the black dragons. If it were other black dragons, Night Sorrow would have killed them. However, the dragon language was different. That was his friend. After Night Sorrow left, Pu Luo stood up. Fen Tian, get someone to inform the Great Demon King, Ruisi, and Yu Zhu. Tell them that the Alliance Master is back. Also, I need to go to the ethereal Imperial City. The news of the dragon language must be sealed. I'll help the Alliance Master clean up the traces. I'll go back with you, Lin Piamiao said. Pu Luo nodded. With the appearance of the dragon language, the aftermath of this matter was very important. Lin Piamiao was the overlord of the ethereal Imperial City. It would be more convenient for her to deal with this matter. Night Sorrow returned to the ethereal Imperial City. Just as he arrived at the entrance of the Night Moon Villa, the dragon language in a black cloak appeared. He didn't say anything. Hair. Night Sorrow brought the dragon language into the Night Moon Villa without saying anything. He then went to a quiet loft. Because of me, you were exiled to the Infinite Wasteland by the 100 Races Alliance for 8 years. I'm sorry. Dragon language bowed to Night Sorrow. We're friends. This matter is nothing. I went out for a period of time. When I heard from Piao Miao that you had appeared, I hurried back. You have to hide now. You can't show your face, Night Sorrow said. It seems that no matter how deep the hatred between you and the Black Dragons is, you still treat me, the dragon language, as a friend, dragon language said. Yes, the Black Dragons are the Black Dragons. The dragon language is the dragon language. These are two different matters. Night Sorrow nodded. I came to find you to tell you something. When I reached the Emperor Realm, I went to investigate my background and why the Black Dragons betrayed the Celestial Realm. I have some clues now, but I've also been exposed. Not only is the 100 Races Alliance looking for me, but the Black Dragons are also looking for me, dragon language said. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for the dragon language. He knew that the dragon language must have found something. Then the dragon language told Night Sorrow that before the Black Dragons reincarnated, there was an outstanding Black Dragon King. The Black Dragon's strength and reputation were mostly due to him. Because he was powerful, it was difficult for his bloodline to continue. His wife gave birth to 2 dragon eggs, but they couldn't hatch. One of them fell into the hands of the Demon-Winged clan. All these years, the Black Dragons had been controlled by the Demon-Winged clan because of their ancestors' bloodline. You mean, the Black Dragons are innocent? They were controlled by the Demon-Winged clan because they had no choice. Night Sorrow was stunned. He didn't expect there to be such a reason. Not really. It was like that at first, but later it changed. They secretly married each other. The current Black Dragon King, Long Zhe, has the bloodline of the Demon-Winged clan, dragon language said. So complicated? Night Sorrow's expression changed. If the Black Dragon King had the bloodline of the Demon-Winged clan, then the Black Dragons and the 100 Races Alliance would fight to the death. Chapter 1901. So that's how it is. We can't continue investigating. Your safety is the most important thing. Now that I know the general situation, I know what to do, Night Sorrow said. My safety is the most important thing. Perhaps that's why I'm not worried about you. Dragon language felt very secure looking at Night Sorrow. After dragon language left the Devil Blood realm, many things happened. She didn't know who to trust. She couldn't even trust her own people, but she trusted Night Sorrow. We're friends. Let's go. I'll send you to the Primal Chaos realm. Night Sorrow didn't want dragon language to stay in the Celestial realm because the Celestial realm wasn't safe. I heard that your god-slaying squad has been working hard to cultivate. I've seen their aura and spirit back then. I want to join, dragon language said. Alright. The current captain of the god-slaying squad is also a member of the dragons. I'll talk to him about this. After thinking about it, Night Sorrow felt that the god-slaying squad was safe enough. Even if the Primal Chaos realm was infiltrated, the god-slaying squad wouldn't be infiltrated. He had Night Moon Villa's Ji Dao go and call Long Jin and Tianyu over. Night Sorrow introduced dragon language to them. I'm Long Jin. Although I hate the black dragons, I respect my brother's friends. From today onwards, you're our brother and sister. We'll have fun together and kill enemies together. Night Sorrow extended his hand to dragon language. We'll kill enemies together and have fun together. I remember that you were very weak during the realm war, dragon language said after a formal handshake. Ah. That was then and this is now. Captain, don't worry. With us brothers around, no one can touch dragon language. Long Jean coughed and said to Night Sorrow. Make sure to hide her identity. Let's go to the God-slaying squad's cultivation base together. Night Sorrow thought for a while and decided to visit his brothers and sisters in the God-slaying squad himself. Lin Piao appeared as well. The group arrived near the Eye of the Storm, where the God-slaying team was stationed. The members of the God-slaying squad were all very happy to see Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was naturally the same. Zhan Tan, Mo Chen, and Guan Yu were his three senior brothers. Qin Zhen, Liang Yu, Yun Huang, and Qian Yu were all his brothers. Everyone is working hard, but remember, you have to know when to relax, Night Sorrow said as he looked at the group of people. Yes, there are some bottlenecks that can't be helped. Qin Zhen said. He was now at the Monarch Realm, but he couldn't cultivate to the peak and enter the Heavenly Monarch Realm. This situation was very common in the God-slaying team. Liang Yu and Yun Huang were also stuck in the same situation, unable to take the step from the Monarch Realm to the Heaven Monarch Realm. Brothers, my aptitude is not bad, right? Becoming a Heavenly Monarch means that you have the potential to become one. However, I've been stuck at the bottleneck for millions of years. Do the math. I've been in jail for 5 million years, Zhan Tan said with a smile. Eldest senior brother, don't put us down like that. 5 million years. That's too scary. Mo Chen said. They all addressed Zhan Tan as eldest senior brother just like Night Sorrow. Ha, I'm not putting you down. I'm just giving you confidence, Zhan Tan said with a smile. Who are we? We are members of the God-slaying team, the most outstanding group of cultivators in the world. There's nothing we can't do. However, we can't ask too much of ourselves. Look, how many emperors are there in the ethereal empire? They have been accumulating for countless years, or even epochs, Night Sorrow said. Everyone drank tea and chatted. They had been brothers for too long and had walked through life and death situations. They were friends who had gone through life and death situations. Night Sorrow and Long Jean also introduced the dragon language to everyone. They also mentioned some things to take note of. The dragon language couldn't be known to outsiders. After chatting with everyone for a while, Night Sorrow decided to leave. Long Jean and Tian Yu decided to stay. They also needed to cultivate and settle down. Only Night Sorrow and Lin Piao wanted to leave. Leader, thank you for the Saint Spirit Stones. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to keep up, Liang Yu said. You don't have enough Saint Spirit Stones? Yi Shang was stunned. Yeah. So many of our brothers leveled up because of King's level. Plus, we used up a lot of space treasures. However, the 10 million Saint Spirit Stones you asked Wu Feng Mansion Master to give us should be enough for us to use for a long time, Liang Yu said. Night Sorrow slapped his forehead. I'm sorry, brothers. It was my negligence that we didn't have enough resources. I didn't know about the 10 million Saint Spirit Stones. I'll take note of the resources in the future. Leader, you didn't know about the 10 million Saint Spirit Stones? Then it's not appropriate for us to use their resources. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. There's nothing inappropriate about it. I was the one who gave it to Wu Feng. What's mine is Night Sorrow's. When Night Sorrow isn't around, you can tell me anything, Lin Piao said. Thank you, 13th Aunt. Qin Zhen and the rest shouted. Qin Zhen used to be a man of few words. However, it was different now. He was happy to be with his brothers. Night Sorrow left. When he got on the teleportation array, he didn't turn around. He just waved his arm. I can't see the leader's cultivation. The gap is getting bigger. I wonder when we can fight together again, Ho Jian said with some emotion. Don't give yourself pressure. The leader wants us to live well. If we feel pressured because of this, the leader won't feel comfortable, Lei Bao said. You're smart for once. Liang Yu patted Lei Bao's shoulder. Long Jin, tell us. How did you go on a killing spree with the leader this time? Qian Yu asked Long Jin. Qian Yu and Long Jin came from the 9 Firmament World Group, so they were more familiar with each other. It went very smoothly this time. However, it should be the most embarrassing time since I met the leader. We were chased for a year. Tian Yu and I took turns to run. For more than a year, we were flying most of the time. Long Jin laughed loudly. What's the situation? You were chased for a year. Everyone's interest was piqued when they heard Long Jin's words. In their minds, it was always Night Sorrow who chased after others. That's an old woman. Her cultivation is an emperor. Do you know what an emperor is? Can we kill her? If we can outrun her, it's actually a win, Tianyu said. When Tianyu said that, everyone was stunned. What kind of concept was an emperor? Everyone was clear. That's not an ordinary emperor. The leader can kill an ordinary emperor. That emperor is one of the 3 great heavens of the Demon Wing clan, Mo Tianji. She's a soul recultivator and her combat power is super strong, Tianyu explained again. He felt that this matter wasn't embarrassing at all. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao returned to Tianhuang City because there were still many things to do. Night Sorrow had just entered the mansion when he saw the Grand Elder and King Yu. After greeting them, Night Sorrow told them about the operation and the current state of his main body. Epiphany. This is very rare. Tell Uncle the approximate area. When Uncle went over, the Demon Wing clan didn't enter the reincarnation battlefield. Uncle didn't fight, King Yu said. He was worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Chapter 1902. Night Sorrow took out the map written by Bai Lingling. He marked out the approximate area he was in and handed it to King Yu. Alright, don't worry and cultivate. Uncle's clone is on the Demon Mountain. He'll be there later, King Yu said. I'm sorry for the delay because of my own cultivation. Night Sorrow bowed to King Yu and the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder reached out and helped Night Sorrow up. It's a good thing to have an epiphany. This time, your uncle will guard you. I'll do it next time. Thank you, Grand Elder. Thank you, Uncle. There's no problem with the item. It's always been with me, Night Sorrow said. From your point of view, it's not necessarily the safest choice for the clone of the human sovereign skeleton to hold on to. You're right, King Yu said. Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea and then told King Yu and the Grand Elder about the journey to the reincarnation battlefield. This time, not only did you get the human sovereign skeleton, but you also got the infinite desolation halberd. For the fate of the infinite desolation and the celestial realm, our advantage will become more obvious as time passes, the Grand Elder said. But the demon ancestor's soul fragment is still there. It's a big hidden danger, Night Sorrow expressed his concern. You don't have to worry about that. The demon ancestor was defeated by the human sovereign when he was at his peak. Now, he's just a remnant soul. If he dares to come out and cause trouble, the remnant soul will be destroyed, King Yu said with confidence. Okay, then I'm relieved. Night Sorrow nodded. Don't worry and cultivate. Uncle saw your real body, but this void purple light snake is really difficult to deal with. After King Yu finished speaking, he left Night Sorrow's residence with the Grand Elder. Uncle is here. You're absolutely safe, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. She felt a lot more at ease. Pu Luo and Fen Tian returned. Pu Luo cleaned up the traces of the dragon language, while Fen Tian patrolled the area of influence of the Humanitarian League. While they were drinking tea and chatting, people came back one after another. First, it was Yuzhu and Ruisi. Then, it was the great demon king in a black robe. I've been busy for 2 years, and you all ran away. Night Sorrow stood up and poured tea for them. Why don't you run for another 2 years? By the time you come back, I'll already be an imperial tribulation cultivator. The Great Demon King said after finishing the tea in one gulp. Have you passed the 8 tribulations of the heavenly law? Pu Luo asked the Great Demon King. Yes, after passing the 7 and 8 tribulations of the heavenly Tao, there's quite a lot of room for improvement. That's why I didn't attempt the 9 tribulations of the heavenly Tao. I should complete it in the next few years. The Great Demon King nodded. Recently, he had been frantically increasing his strength. Then, Yuzhu said that she had good news to tell everyone. After extorting a bag of tea from Night Sorrow and a jar of wine from the Great Demon King, she told everyone that her subordinates had seen the Sky Limit Saint Emperor in Bai Chuyuan's White Emperor City. Hearing this, the Great Demon King stood up immediately. Old bastard, you're finally not hiding anymore. Alright, let's go kill him. Night Sorrow didn't want anyone from the Sky Limit sect to escape the net. That would be a threat to the Ethereal Empire and Star Moon Lake. The Great Demon King waved his hand and didn't let Night Sorrow follow him. He set off with Ruisi. The Great Demon King will settle it. You have a lot of things to do, so stay calm for a while. When you're in a state of enlightenment, your doppelgangers will fight fiercely. It's easy for your main body to wake up prematurely. Then, it won't be worth it. Lin Piaomiao said. Yuzhu smiled. You have to know that the Great Demon King has already passed the 8 tribulations of the heavenly law. Back then, before he passed the tribulation, he already killed that guy. Now that he's gone, he'll directly solve the problem. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow nodded. He wasn't worried that the Great Demon King wouldn't be able to deal with Ling Tianji. He just wanted to kill him once. After chatting with Pu Luo and Ruisi for a while, Night Sorrow left the mansion. After thinking for a while, he went to the high tower where the Grand Elder was. At this moment, in the small space world inside the high tower, King Yewu and the Grand Elder were talking about the Demon Mountain situation, as well as the results of searching the memories of the dragon-headed man and snake-headed man after capturing them. That means that the Black Dragon's betrayal has something to do with their bloodline. Is this a deep collusion? The Grand Elder frowned. If bloodline was involved, then the problem was serious. Noticing Night Sorrow's arrival, the Grand Elder opened the door to the small space world and let Night Sorrow in. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at King Yewu and the Grand Elder. I have something to say. At the same time, I hope that Martial Uncle and Grand Elder won't make things difficult for an innocent person. Say it. If you think it's innocent, we will naturally consider it. King Yewu nodded. A Night Sorrow told them about the appearance of the dragon language, as well as the results of the investigation of the dragon language. The outstanding Black Dragon King from the previous reincarnation was Ao Yang. Ao Yang's son was lost. Is the current dragon-headed man related to Ao Yang's bloodline? King Yewu's face was full of shock. 2 black dragon eggs, one is lost. What about the other one? Which of the black dragons did the other one belong to? The Grand Elder also had questions. Night Sorrow doesn't know about this. I only know that the current Black Dragon King Long Zhe is definitely on the side of the Demon Wing clan. I don't want to say the specific dragon language, and I don't want to force my friend to say anything, Night Sorrow said. The dragon language. She didn't mix with the black dragons. That's for sure. Now let's see how to deal with this matter, King Yewu said. Talk to the city lord and see if it's necessary to attack the black dragons and release the imprisoned black dragons. If it's possible, then the truth will be revealed to the world, the Grand Elder said after thinking for a while. Night Sorrow didn't say anything else. He just told them what he knew. He didn't care about the next plans and arrangements. It wasn't something he could control. Seeing King Yewu and the Grand Elder pondering, Night Sorrow left the small space world. Night Sorrow felt a little uneasy, but he didn't know the reason. There was originally some danger in his original body's epiphany, but with King Yuwu's arrival, it was absolutely safe. Mo Tianji smoothly arrived in the celestial realm. This allowed her to let out a sigh of relief. She had a chance of accomplishing some of the following things. Mo Tianji was a smart person. In the desolate heaven domain, she was a wise person. After arriving in the celestial realm, she was very cautious and knew that there were some places she couldn't go. The desolate heaven domain and the divine capital were places she couldn't go. Her aura could easily be discovered by the giants of the 100 Race Alliance. She was only a middle-class emperor and couldn't fight against some experts. Once she was exposed, some plans couldn't be carried out in secret. Mo Tianji's main target was Night Sorrow. The desolate heaven domain halberd and her original body were both in Night Sorrow's hands. If she took back her body, she could return to her peak state. If she also took back the desolate heaven domain halberd, she wouldn't be afraid of anyone. Chapter 1903. Mo Tianji knew a little about Night Sorrow. Back then, Ma Tiantu's group of monarchs had dug up some information about Night Sorrow. Mo Tianji realized that her attire was very eye-catching. Her white hair was 30,000 feet long. Who would look like her? After thinking for a while, Mo Tianji exhaled and changed her body's energy. Her white hair hid in her body and then she activated her energy. Black hair that reached her waist appeared. The black hair covered her white hair. She took off her black cloak and changed into a loose white robe. It was her casual attire when she was resting. After entering a city and buying a map of the celestial realm, Mo Tianji teleported to the ethereal dynasty. She planned to enter Night Sorrow's 9 Zones world first. As long as she entered the 9 Zones world and destroyed the teleportation formation, the 9 Zones world would be her territory. In the 9 Zones world, Night Sorrow had many weaknesses. As long as she took down his family and friends, Night Sorrow would be obedient. Night Sorrow stayed in the desolate city every day to practice the intense spear art. He was creating the ultimate art for the desolate war halberd. It was a good thing for Night Sorrow that the main body's epiphany didn't end. On Night Sorrow's day, the great demon king and Rue Si returned after he finished practicing the spear art. How was it? Night Sorrow asked. It went well. Ling Tianji's main body and doppelganger were all killed. Bai Qiuyuan's main body was also killed. However, the great demon king was too inhumane. When Bai Qiuyuan was about to die, he forced me to hit him with a brick. I have to apologize to the Grand Elder later. Rue Si looked at the great demon king with resentment. We are all brothers in the Humanitarian League. We have to go through thick and thin together. Do you think you can just watch me kill someone? Then when I come back and the Grand Elder scolds me, you will be fine. You are overthinking. The great demon king acted as if he didn't see Rue Si's gaze. After drinking a pot of tea, the demon king and Rue Si went to report to the Grand Elder. They had to inform the Grand Elder about killing Bai Zongyuan. Pu Luo, how's my Aunt Fei's coronation? Night Sorrow asked. It's very lively. All the 100 races have sent representatives. Other than you, the leader of the Humanitarian League, the other 6 elders have all arrived. In addition to your gift, our Humanitarian League has also prepared other gifts, so it won't be a problem. Pulo told Night Sorrow about the situation at that time. J Most Q New Chapter 50, Q above, asterisk, thank you. This is the first time I've broken my promise to someone. It's the first time I've failed to keep my promise to someone. Night Sorrow felt a little regretful in his heart because he really didn't want to disappoint Wu Lingfei. The Ice Phoenix matriarch can understand. After hearing about what happened to you, she was very worried, Pu Luo said. Night Sorrow nodded. Now that things had come to this, he could only wait for his main body to come out of seclusion and find time to go again. After a while, the Demon King and Rue Si returned. The two of them didn't have any shame on their faces after being reprimanded. Instead, they were full of anger. What happened? Pu Luo asked. We met that old bastard Yukuan. He said all sorts of unpleasant things, saying that the two of us are the black sheep of the herd, Ruisi said angrily. Then the two of you aren't going to do anything to him? Fen Tian returned from outside and just happened to hear Ruisi's words. Do we directly attack him in front of the Grand Elder? If it's not in front of the Grand Elder, we'll do it directly, Ruisi said. Pu Luo laughed, this isn't a big deal. Looks like this Yukun needs to be dealt with. He can't always be by the Grand Elder's side, right? This idiot always wants to slap our Humanitarian League's face. Then there's no need for us to be polite. Revenge doesn't wait overnight. Keep an eye on him and deal with him tonight, Night Sorrow said. League Master, this joke won't work. If we touch him, we'll inevitably be scolded by the Council of Elders. It's not worth it. The Demon King looked at Night Sorrow with surprise in his eyes. This wasn't something that Night Sorrow would say. The Humanitarian League was built by us. We have a clear conscience. The Humanitarian League is also our face. If we hit anyone who wants to hit us, how can we still survive? We'll deal with him tonight. I hate him from the bottom of my heart. He's not a good person. I'll bear all the consequences. Night Sorrow's thoughts were very firm. Since League Master said so, then let's deal with him. He almost killed us last time, and now he's still so arrogant. He really thinks he's a dish. After listening to Night Sorrow's words, the Demon King's blood rushed to his head. Pu Luo, if it's inconvenient for you, then don't go. We'll deal with him without a problem. Lin Piaomiao looked at Pu Luo. After all, Yukun and Pu Luo were both law enforcement elders of the Council of Elders. She was worried that there were some things that Pu Luo couldn't face. What do you mean it's inconvenient for me? If he wants to go against the Humanitarian League, then it's convenient for me at any time. Pu Luo said with a smile. At this time, the Grand Elder came to Lu Qi's residence. He waved his hand and asked Lu Qi, who was about to make tea, to sit down. Grand Elder, what's the matter? Lu Qi took the empty teapot and sat down. The Grand Elder told Lu Qi about Yukun's suppression of the Demon King and Ruisi. Grand Elder, I don't quite understand. The Humanitarian League's reputation is at its peak. Although it's a little flamboyant, it's in line with the heavens and humanity. Yukun shouldn't be doing this at this time. Lu Qi said with some confusion. Some things don't have evidence, but it doesn't mean that they don't exist. I'm too lazy to investigate the details. Let the Humanitarian League deal with it, and the matter will be over. I came to you because I think the Humanitarian League will make a move soon. You have to watch the situation and don't let it escalate. The Grand Elder said. Okay, Lu Qi understands. Lu Qi nodded. After the Grand Elder left, Lu Qi sighed. There were some things that he knew and had been through his hands. One of them was investigating Yukun. Back then, Lin Piaomiao and the Demon King led people to fight against the demon-winged clan in Mount Tianhuang. Under Yukun's strong command, the entire army was almost wiped out. It was Pu Luo who led people and pulled them back from the brink of death. After the investigation, the mobilization of people at that time couldn't be justified. It didn't conform to common sense, and it shouldn't have been because of Yukun. There were also a few incidents that shouldn't have happened. Without exception, they all happened to Yukun. The Demon King was the one who arranged to keep an eye on Yukun. He had 3 groups of people in Mount Tianhuang. There was no problem in keeping an eye on Yukun. After the moon rose, Night Sorrow led people out of the mansion. Yukun was still in Mount Tianhuang. He was looking at a compass in a daze. He was holding the yin-yang compass. The yin-yang compass was yin and yang. As long as one moved, the other would move too. After arriving near Yukun's mansion, Pu Luo first entered Yukun's mansion. Pu Luo, are you here on behalf of the Humanitarian League? Yukun asked. That's right. Let me ask you. Do you have to stick your nose in our Humanitarian League's business? Pu Luo's face, which was originally full of smiles, was now very serious. I'm the law enforcement elder of the 100 Races Alliance's Council of Elders. It's normal for me to meddle in anything, right? Yukuan asked back. Chapter 1904. Zhang Ziwen unsealed Pu Luo was here to kill. If Yukuan had a better attitude, Pu Luo would have hesitated. But Yukuan was stubborn. Pu Luo had no reason to be polite. Pu Luo, are you crazy? Yukuan retreated, his eyes full of shock. He didn't expect Pu Luo to attack. In the past, Pu Luo was famous for his good temper. He was sunny, kind, and easy to get along with. But now, they were two completely different things. Pu Luo attacked violently. I'm crazy. You're the crazy one. Is your brain full of shit? You want to slap the Humanitarian League's face? Pu Luo kept attacking with his fists. Pu Luo's fists weren't divine weapons, but they were stronger than divine weapons. His fists were extremely fierce. His fists shattered Yukuan's mansion. At this time, the housekeeper of Yukuan's mansion attacked Pu Luo. I'll stop him. Go find someone to stop him. A random subordinate is an Emperor Tribulation cultivator. Yukuan, you've hidden yourself well. Pu Luo was surprised. He punched the housekeeper with his left hand. At the same time, he sent a message to Knight Sorrow and the others. He wanted to capture this housekeeper alive. They were likely to investigate Yukuan's background. Pu Luo continued to attack Yukuan. Go inform the Grand Elder. Yukuan shouted at the housekeeper. He wanted to find the Grand Elder, but Pu Luo didn't let him. The housekeeper couldn't restrain Pu Luo. As soon as the housekeeper left the mansion, a spatial crack appeared in front of him. Then, several figures appeared. Domain suppression and absolute art control. Following which, 5 shining golden bricks of human Tao appeared. Following which, this housekeeper's head, chin, back of his head, chest, and back were struck. His body went soft as he fell to the ground and fainted. 5 people hit the bricks. Knight Sorrow didn't do anything because 5 people were enough. Humanitarian League, you won with more people. Aren't you afraid of losing face? Yukuan's face changed. He knew that today was his doom. The Humanitarian League really wanted to mess with him. Losing face. I don't think so. As long as you're not stupid, you know that it doesn't matter how many people you hit. Yukuan, are no different from a mad dog when you open your mouth and bite people. Rui Si threw out a harsh sentence, making Yukuan's face turn red. Lu Qi, who was watching from afar, shook his head. He didn't expect Rui Si, who usually didn't speak much, to say such words. Pu Luo, I won't give you a chance to practice alone and prove yourself. Take him down and end this quickly, the great demon king shouted at Pu Luo. What do I have to prove? That I'm stronger than him. Everyone in the Council of Elders knows this. Why do we need any proof? Everyone, get to work. Pu Luo replied to the great demon king. He realized that many people had appeared around him, so he had to end the battle quickly. The commotion caused by the battle was huge. The elders of the Council of Elders, as well as some law enforcers and deacons, all discovered it. However, they were stopped outside by a law enforcer team led by Lu Qi. Yukuan used a clone, but it wasn't enough. He was an Emperor Tribulation level cultivator. In terms of strength, he wasn't as strong as Pu Luo. The Great Demon King and Lin Piaomia were both close to the Emperor Tribulation level and had the strength to fight above their level. He couldn't stop them. The battle was very fierce. The area was destroyed, and Yukuan was heavily injured. His clone was killed, and his head was split in half by the Great Demon King. Stop immediately. The Grand Elder won't allow you to mess around. This is a lose-lose situation, Yukuan shouted. He would be a fool if he still couldn't see the situation. The onlookers also knew that Knight Sorrow and the others weren't here to educate Yukuan. They were here to kill him. 7th Elder, why didn't you stop them? Yukuan shouted at Lu Qi when he noticed him. Lu Qi was a disciplined elder. If he stopped them, Night Sorrow and the others would give him face. Why should I stop them? If you have a conflict, then solve it. We'll talk about it after that. If there's a conflict within the 100 Races Alliance, it's better to solve it first. Lu Qi didn't care. He was here to carry out the Grand Elder's arrangement and not let the situation escalate. Lu Qi, you despicable person. You're a disciplined elder. How can you be bribed? Yukuan was furious. He knew that Lu Qi didn't want to care about him. Hurry up! Yu Zhu shouted. Then, her sword changed. She used her ultimate move. She was worried that a long delay would lead to trouble. As Yu Zhu used her ultimate move, the people from the Humanitarian League also used their ultimate moves. Night Sorrow used the Soul Destruction Crescent Moon Blade and slashed at Yukuan. As Night Sorrow and the others used their ultimate moves, Yukuan naturally couldn't take it. Pu Luo's fist shattered his spiritual sea. The Great Demon King's weapon also pierced his dantian. Pu Luo quickly collected the spoils of war. Storage rings, weapons, and Dharma treasures. These were all spoils of war. This is the result of going against the Humanitarian League. If you don't like it, then try it, Ruisi shouted at the crowd. Slap! Pu Luo slapped the back of Ruisi's head. Are you stupid? Do you think that the disturbance is small and that you want to make some enemies for the Humanitarian League? Looking at the other people staring at him, Reese knew that his attempt to establish his authority had failed miserably. It was completely untimely. Retreat! Night Sorrow shouted. The few of them left Yukuan's mansion. Of course, it wasn't a mansion anymore. It was a ruin. When they passed by Lu Qi, Night Sorrow threw a jar of wine to him. Then, they quickly left the area. Ruisi's shouting was stopped by Pu Luo. However, everyone watching the battle knew that they couldn't provoke the Humanitarian League. The Humanitarian League really didn't give them any face. They were ruthless and underhanded. No matter who it was, they were serious. In terms of status and identity, Yukuan was already very high. In the Elders Association, other than the Grand Elder and the 7 Elders, the Elder of Law Enforcement had the highest status. But so what? He was directly killed. Lu Qi sighed as he held the jar of wine in his hand. He knew that if he didn't handle it well, his reputation would be ruined tonight. It would be ruined by this jar of wine. The onlookers didn't know that it was the Grand Elder's order. They all thought that he had been roped in by the Humanitarian League. Evidence? This jar of wine was the evidence. After leaving the area of Yukuan's mansion, Night Sorrow didn't return to his mansion directly. Instead, he brought Pu Luo, the Great Demon King, and the others to the First Army's encampment. When they arrived at the encampment, Night Sorrow called White Meng Meng and Bai Lingling to the commander's office. Then, he threw out the unconscious Yukuan's butler. Meng Meng, Lingling, do me a favor. Check his soul memory. If there's anything that's not beneficial to the 100 Races Alliance or something that can't be exposed, record it down, Night Sorrow said to White Meng Meng and Bai Lingling. At this time, Tianyu and Long Jin also arrived in the tent. Before Night Sorrow could say anything, they each pressed on one of the butler's shoulders. The Great Demon King held the human Dao gold brick, squatted in front of the butler's head, and waved his hand again. Don't worry. Carry out the investigation. He definitely won't wake up. Could he wake up? As soon as there were signs of him waking up, the gold brick would go straight to his head. Search Cool Craftsman on WeChat, follow the name of the new work, and read the full text. Say. Chapter 1905. Zhang Ziwen unsealed. White Meng Meng made a move. She used the Nine-Tailed Fox clan's soul illusion technique to attack Yukuan's spirit sea. Would an Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator be someone's butler? It didn't make sense, so Night Sorrow asked White Meng Meng and the others to check their memories. Seeing White Meng Meng begin to check, Night Sorrow went to the side to study the things left behind by Yukuan. Yukuan was dead, so his storage ring was naturally ownerless. Night Sorrow took the things outside one by one. Yin-yang compass. There's something wrong with this thing. Pu Luo picked up the yin-yang compass that Night Sorrow put aside and said, "What's this?" Night Sorrow looked at Pu Luo and asked, "It's a messenger. No matter how far it is, when the yin compass and the yang compass move, the other one will move as well," Pu Luo said. "This only shows that it's possible. It's mainly because of that guy's memories." Night Sorrow was stunned when he said this. At this moment, White Meng Meng had already used her illusion technique. She grabbed Yukuan's head with her left hand and dragged a memory crystal ball with her right hand. The crystal ball contained the butler's memories. The city in the image was different from what Night Sorrow knew. This wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that the people in the image all had a single horn and 2 wings. They were from the Demon Wing clan. What did this mean? It meant that this butler wasn't from the Celestial Realm, but from the Demon Wing clan. The Great Demon King moved his left hand and an energy shattered Yukuan's hairpin. Then, he pulled it. Night Sorrow and the others saw that there was no hair in the center of Yukuan's hairpin. There was a scar. It's the same as the Demon Wing clan's Imperial Emperor team. He's from the Demon Wing clan after the broken horn and wings. "I just don't know when this guy sneaked in," Night Sorrow said. "This evidence is enough." With a Demon Wing clan's Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator as his trusted aide, how could Yukuan be a good person? "Ha!" Pu Luo said with a laugh. "Keep your voice down and see if you can dig out more." Yu Zhu glared at Pu Luo. "Yu Zhu, you're so mean. When I was a law enforcer, you and Reese lived a good life. I did all the work myself. Now you're glaring at me. That's too sad." Pu Luo sighed. "Hey! Don't be sad. Once we're done with this guy, I'll treat you to tea at the Twilight Tea House." "Let's go to the best restaurant," Yu Zhu said. "Our cool craftsman." Net, original first, looking at Yu Zhu, Pu Luo smiled. They had known each other for a long time, so even if it was a joke, Yu Zhu would not let him down. "Everyone knows what this thing is. Glazed steel is a forging material that can only be produced on planet Tianhuang." "Did he collude with the Demon Wing clan?" the Great Demon King asked as he took out a shining forging material from Night Sorrow's pile. Now that Yukuan's matter had been resolved, Lu Qi dismissed everyone. He sighed and carried the wine to the Grand Elder's pocket dimension. "What's wrong? Do you think everyone will look at you differently? Do you think you're in cahoots with the Humanitarian League?" the Grand Elder asked. "I've treasured my entire life. Now, it's been ruined by a few bastards." Lu Qi opened the wine jar. "Lu Qi, you too." "Fine. I'll drink this wine." The Grand Elder shook his head. "This jar of wine is hard to swallow, so Lu Qi won't drink it himself," Lu Qi said. "You're overthinking. The Great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao have long been suspicious of Yukuan. How can they not investigate after killing him? Judging from the way those guys do things, not to mention that Yukuan himself is not clean, even if he was clean, he would still be covered in shit." The Great Elder said with a smile. "That means the Council of Elders will make an announcement about Yukuan's case tomorrow. The Humanitarian League's actions are just this time, and the law enforcers are just enforcing the law." Lu Qi asked in surprise. "That's right. There is indeed a problem with Yukuan. There are some things that don't stick to trifles." The Grand Elder looked at Lu Qi and shook his head. He knew that Lu Qi was very principled. Of course, this was also one of the main reasons why he became a disciplined elder. Night Sorrow had investigated clearly. The expert of the Demon Wing clan around Yukuan was called Dark Feather. He was sent to the Celestial Realm by the Demon Wing clan. Some information was passed to Yukuan by him, and some things he did not know were orders given to Yukuan by the higher-ups of the Demon Wing clan through the Yin and Yang compass. After investigating clearly, Night Sorrow, Pu Luo and the Great Demon King carried the unconscious Dark Feather to the Grand Elder's small space world. Grand Elder, Seventh Elder is in a good mood. Looking at the Grand Elder and Seventh Elder drinking, Night Sorrow was taken aback for a moment. Have you arranged the aftermath? Be realistic, the Grand Elder said. This evidence is real, not fabricated. Night Sorrow activated the crystal ball that White Meng Meng used to explore Dark Feather's memory. After looking at it for a while, the Grand Elder sighed, and Lu Qi's face was also full of anger. This person is the housekeeper of Yukuan. His cultivation base is at the level of the fifth tribulation of the heavenly Tao. Look at the root of his bun, there are scars of broken horns, and traces of broken wings on his back, the Great Demon King said. This yin and yang compass should be a tool for the Demon Wing clan to contact Yukuan. This glass steel may be the reward for the Demon Wing clan to ask Yukuan to do something. Night Sorrow put away the glass steel and did not give it to the Grand Elder and Seventh Elder. Night Sorrow, you are now the captain of the First Army. Not only do you have your own domain, but you are also the leader of the Humanitarian League. Is there a need to be so stingy over a piece of material? Lu Qi said somewhat speechlessly. This is not my own. It is the spoils of war of our Humanitarian League. When we go back, we will divide it, Night Sorrow said. You have done a good job. This matter will be left to the Council of Elders. The Grand Elder was still a little uncomfortable. After all, Yukuan had been in the Council of Elders for a long time. Now that he was proven to be a spy, he was still a little disappointed. Night Sorrow, Pu Luo, and the Great Demon King left, leaving the captive Dark Feather to the Grand Elder. Lu Qi got up and placed a seal on Dark Feather's Dantian and Spirit Sea. In order to unravel the foundation of Yukuan, it was better for Dark Feather to be alive. The Merit Emperor, the Human Emperor's seal, and the Human Emperor's ceremony, he actually represents the human Tao. There must be a reason for him to not see eye to eye with someone. Even if he doesn't see eye to eye with him, he must not be a good person. The Grand Elder said. Lu Qi did not speak. He already knew that Night Sorrow had the Human Emperor's seal and the Human Emperor's ceremony's sacred text of Taoism. Look at the path he has taken, it is a legend. Even the previous Human Emperor was not so amazing. It took him tens of thousands of years to become an emperor. But look at him. He is now a 6 stars emperor and is still in the process of enlightenment. Just thinking about it is scary. The Grand Elder said with some emotion. Grand Elder, the existence of Night Sorrow is not a secret in Tianhuang. If the other party continues to send people to kill him at all costs, it will be troublesome. We have to pay attention to his safety and help cover up his weakness. Lu Qi said. Yes, it is also easy for the Black Dragons to deal with him. So, you take 2 elders to the ethereal Imperial City area and watch over his area of influence. His weakness is that he values friendship. The Grand Elder thought for a moment and made arrangements. Search for Cool Craftsman Net on WeChat, follow the name of the new work, and read the full text. Said, the second update has arrived. I wish all my brothers and sisters a happy Qixi. Chapter 1906. We still have to do the hard work. I'll go talk to King Yuwu. Let someone else take care of the divine capital first. Lu Qi said. All right. You make the arrangements. The human race is going to prosper. The 100 races are going to rise. The Grand Elder was very happy. When Night Sorrow, the Great Demon King, and Pu Luo returned to the mansion, Lin Piaomiao and Yu Zhu had already prepared the banquet. After dealing with Yukuan, everyone had vented their anger. Naturally, they had to celebrate. Tomorrow, after Yukuan's matter is announced, our Humanitarian League's reputation will go up another level. Who dares to mess with us? Ruesi was also very excited. Next time, don't you think before you speak. The Humanitarian League's mission is to punish evil and promote good. You're making it sound like we're from the underworld. Pu Luo glared at Ruesi. If he doesn't listen, we'll have a meeting to vote to expel him from the Humanitarian League. The Humanitarian League doesn't accept scum. Yu Zhu took a sip of wine and said. Ruesi looked at the group dumbfounded. Isn't this too serious? I just said one wrong thing. Plus, I'm one of the founding members of the Humanitarian League. How can you expel me just because you want to? Do you have any morals? We don't care about the morals of the underworld. We deal with all of them ruthlessly. Lin Piaomiao smiled. Sect Elder Lin, you weren't like this in the past. You've gone astray. Ruesi shook his head helplessly. He obviously knew they were joking. Knight Sorrow and the others were drinking wine to celebrate. Tianhuang City wasn't quiet. The elders and enforcers were all discussing what had just happened. The main thing was that the matter was too serious. Yukuan was the enforcer of the 100 Races Sect Elder Association and an Imperial Tribulation cultivator. A cultivator with such a high status and cultivation was killed by the Humanitarian League in an instant. Emperor Tang, Qin Qianjie, Elder Ling Shu, and Gu Qi were all sitting together. What do you think, Elder Qin? Emperor Tang asked. After pondering for a moment, Qin Qianjie said, I keep feeling that something is amiss. If the Grand Elder and the 7 sect elders wanted to stop it, Yukuan would not have been killed. Since they did not stop it, it means that the Grand Elder and the 7 sect elders have tacitly approved of it. These guys are too good at causing trouble. Bai Qiuyuan was killed, Ling Tianji was killed, and now Yukuan is the same. If this continues, everyone will be killed by them, Gu Qi said. You can't say it like that. I like that brat. He's imposing and has principles. Every time he sees us, he's very courteous, right? There was a reason why he killed Yukuan. Just like what Elder Qin said, if it was unreasonable, would the Grand Elder not stop him? How can the 7th Patriarch not capture him? Elder Ling Shu said. Let's see tomorrow. Tomorrow, the Grand Elder and the 7 Patriarchs will explain this matter. The Humanitarian League will also need to provide an explanation, Emperor Tang said. Strange, logically speaking, after such a big thing has happened, the elders should immediately convene a meeting, right? But there is no response. Gu Qi was still a little puzzled. They had gathered together to wait for the meeting of the elders to be held. The night passed, but there was no sign of activity. After dawn, a person was tied up in front of the stone tablet on the side of the square in front of the Heaven Wasteland Tower. There was also a large notice pasted on it. There was also a law enforcer holding a tray and a memory crystal ball. The notice announced Yukuan's misdeeds, as well as the fact that Yukuan colluded with the Demon Wing clan. The Humanitarian League, for the sake of the stability of the 100 Races Alliance, had captured the spy for the Council of Elders. Qin Qianjie, Emperor Tang, and the others received a message from their subordinates and came to the martial arts arena together. After reading the notice, Qin Qianjie activated the memory crystal ball, and then the matter of Dark Feather was displayed in front of the crowd. Emperor Tang also fiddled with Dark Feather's hair bun that did not resist. Yukuan should be killed. The yin-yang compass and glass steel are on him, plus the steward of the Demon Wing clan. This is irrefutable evidence. Qin Qianjie's face was very ugly. Yukuan, who was also a law enforcer, was a traitor, which made her lose face. Last time when our people were fighting in the Heaven Wasteland Mountain, Elder Lin and the Great Demon King were forcibly commanded by him and were almost completely wiped out. The other 2 guards of the space passageway were killed. I suspected him, but there was no evidence. Now the evidence has finally appeared. Emperor Tang said. The appearance of the notice calmed the matter down, and there were people constantly coming to visit Knight Sorrow's residence. It was very satisfying to solve the matter of the spy. After sending away the people, Yu Zhu brewed a pot of tea. Comfortable, after occupying the moral high ground, everything is justified. It's not occupying, we punish evil and promote good. We have always stood at the moral high ground. Whoever can't get along with us, we will kill them all, the Great Demon King said. Okay. You win, Do we want the area of White Emperor City? Knight Sorrow got down to business. Of course, why not? Our forces are strong and powerful. How can we develop without a territory? Without resources, how can we nurture future forces? The great demon king said. Then we will have to tell Xuanji. Knight Sorrow nodded. Ah! By the time Alliance Lord thought of this, the territory would have been snatched away. When the great demon king and I returned, we told Chief Steward Jun about it. Our forces had already set out to occupy it. Ruesi glanced at Knight Sorrow with disdain. Our humanitarian league punishes evil and promotes good, not bandits, Knight Sorrow said helplessly, shaking his head. Translator, Timothy_editor, Globeglotter, punishing evil and promoting good. But punishing evil and promoting good also requires food and cultivation resources. We have discussed this matter before. You just need to wait for the resources. Pu Luo glanced at Knight Sorrow. At this time, Knight Sorrow agreed with Ruesi's words. They had all learned bad things. Pu Luo used to be such a sunny and gentlemanly person, but now he was leaning back in his reclining chair and drinking tea. He was completely like a skinned landlord. The Humanitarian League expanded very quickly. The main reason was that no one dared to stop the Humanitarian League's development. No one dared to snatch the Humanitarian League's territory. First of all, the Humanitarian League was doing things righteously. Even if it was snatching territory, it had a good reason. Whoever snatched the Humanitarian League's territory would be in big trouble. In addition, in terms of strength, the Humanitarian League was also very strong. On the 100 Races Alliance's side, other than a limited number of giants, no other force or cultivator could suppress the Humanitarian League. Lu Qi found King Yawu and told him about the Grand Elder's arrangements. I also had the same idea. I originally planned to let Shi Yan go. But as you know, Shi Yan's fighting strength is not a problem, but his Jianghu experience is a little lacking. When you go, bring Shi Yan's clone, King Yawu said to Lu Qi. Lu Qi understands. Knight Sorrow is the key to the development of our human race. Lu Qi will protect Star Moon City, Lu Qi nodded. Chapter 1907. With King Yawu's message crystal, Lu Qi went to find Shiying. From King Yawu's arrangement, Lu Qi knew how important Knight Sorrow was to King Yawu. King Yawu's words revealed that anyone who provoked Star Moon City would die. Even the 100 Races Alliance was no exception. With Shi Ying's clone and 2 elders from the Council of Elders, Lu Qi set off. Knight Sorrow didn't know about this. He went to see Jun Xuanji and chatted with him. Jun Xuanji was very cheerful and in a good state. Don't worry, I'm here. Uncle Shiying often rests in our Humanitarian League and even guides my cultivation. Jun Xuanji pointed at Shiying, who was fishing in the artificial lotus pond at the Humanitarian League headquarters. Knight Sorrow nodded with a smile. He knew about Shiying, an Emperor Tribulation expert, the true powerhouse of the divine capital. You're still laughing? I go buy fish every few days. Uncle Shiying definitely won't let go of the fish he catches. He'll eat it in all sorts of ways. If he can't catch any fish, he'll ignore me. Jun Xuanji said with a smile. Knight Sorrow went to Shiying and bowed. Knight Sorrow thanks Great Protector Shiying for taking care of the Humanitarian League. Young City Lord is too polite. The Humanitarian League is the most righteous force in the divine capital. I naturally have to take care of it. I mainly like this place, there are many fish here. Shiying pointed at the lotus pond. Protector Shi Yan, don't call me that. Yi Shang can't afford it. Just call me Yi Shang. Hearing Shi Yan's way of addressing him, Yi Shang quickly refused. At the same time, he was speechless. Many fish in the lotus pond? That's what he put there. The city lord has no descendants in his life. He only accepted Fan Tian as his disciple and Yu as his martial nephew. Before the 100 Races Alliance's Pioneer Assembly, the City Lord had clearly stated that young City Lord Fan Tian and young City Lord Knight are the successors of the City Lord of the Divine Capital. Shering said. I've troubled Uncle Master with my matters. I can only work hard to cultivate and share Uncle Master's burdens. Night Sorrow sighed. Back then, the god's capital had 2 city lords, Lord King Yewu and Lord Yen Wushuang, so you are indeed the young city lord. Shikuan told Night Sorrow something he didn't know. On T7 after chatting with Shikuan for a while, Night Sorrow left. He didn't have to worry about the Humanitarian League. Even if the demon-winged clan wanted to do anything to Jun Xuanji, it would be impossible. Ordinary opponents could be dealt with by Shikuan. If a giant-level character really came, King Yewu would feel that no one would have a good ending. Night Sorrow returned to the heavenly desolate city and practiced his spear arts in his mansion. Practice makes perfect, and Night Sorrow's spear arts were cultivated through familiarity. Night Sorrow's basic spear arts, the primeval origin spear art that the Grand Elder had taught him, was displayed. The compressed domain on the spear was constantly vibrating and fluctuating. The vibrations and fluctuations were extremely powerful. Mo Tianji went to the ethereal royal dynasty's territory, but she didn't act rashly. She knew how important Night Sorrow was to the human race and the 100 Races Alliance, so she had to be careful. She also knew that there weren't many opportunities. Once she acted, the human race would have defenses. Mo Tianji concealed her aura and went to the ethereal royal city first. She wanted to take a look around the Night Moon Villa. If Night Sorrow's parents, wife, and children were there, and there was a chance, she would act. Mo Tianji didn't use the teleportation array. Instead, she crossed the city wall and entered the ethereal royal city. Then, she went to the Night Moon Villa to monitor it. Mo Tianji's soul power was very strong. She was very far away from the Night Moon Villa, and she could discover everything in the Night Moon Villa. Noticing the ice dragon skeleton in the Night Moon Villa, Mo Tianji frowned. She could see that it was the core of a terrifying array. She calmed her mind and examined it. Then, Mo Tianji shook her head. She had analyzed that once the array was activated, she wouldn't be able to break it with her 8-star Emperor cultivation. In fact, she wouldn't be able to break it in a short period of time. During this time, other experts would be able to come and help. If she couldn't break the defensive array, then she would just have to wait. Mo Tianji planned to wait for Night Sorrow's family to come out. It would be easier to capture them outside. However, reality disappointed Mo Tianji. There was almost no one going in or out of the Night Moon Villa, let alone those related to Night Sorrow. Mo Tianji came to the conclusion that the Night Moon Villa in the ethereal royal city couldn't be moved. If it didn't work, she would change her strategy. Mo Tianji left the Night Moon Villa and headed towards the Star Moon Lake. The existence of the Star Moon Lake was no longer a secret. Many people knew that it was the gateway to the 9 regions world. When Mo Tianji arrived at the Star Moon Lake, she used her energy to protect her body and entered the lake water. She approached the Star Moon City in the water. She didn't want to alert the enemy. She wanted to find an opportunity to strike. The people in charge of the Star Moon Lake were the Qing Emperor and Tang Jianfeng. They welcomed guests, Lu Qi and Shering. Night Sorrow's 9 regions world clone sent a message to the Qing Emperor and Tang Jianfeng. The Qing Emperor came to the ethereal royal city to pick them up. Why didn't Mo Tianji see Night Sorrow's family in the ethereal royal city? It was because Night Sorrow's 9 regions world clone told her that his family members couldn't leave the 9 regions world, let alone the primal chaos realm. The Qing Emperor prepared a banquet to receive Lu Qi, Shering, and the 2 elders from the Council of Elders. After the banquet, Shering brought an elder from the Council of Elders to the Night Moon Villa in the ethereal royal city. Lu Qi and the other human elders stayed in the Star Moon City. When he noticed the Golden Body Holy Spirit, Lu Qi was shocked. The Golden Body Holy Spirit's merit aura wasn't as strong as Night Sorrow's, but it was still very rich. Its cultivation wasn't low either. Currently, it had the highest cultivation in the Star Moon Lake besides Night Sorrow. It was a 3-star emperor. At this moment, the Golden Body Holy Spirit was sitting on the peak of the mountain behind the city lord's residence and cultivating. It was wearing a red cloak, which was Yi Qingyan's masterpiece. The energy of heaven and earth was gathering towards its body like a funnel. Its cultivation caused a huge commotion. What's going on? Lu Qi pointed at the golden body Holy Spirit and asked. The Qing Emperor explained the golden body Holy Spirit's situation and its origin. This guy is very powerful. According to the time, his cultivation speed is terrifying, Lu Qi said. Yes, and he's very intelligent. He can communicate with everyone. We all call him Little Bone. The Qing Emperor nodded. At this moment, Mo Tianji was approaching the Star Moon City under the cover of the Star Moon Lake's water. Her soul power was very strong, so she naturally detected Lu Qi and the other human elder. Damn it! Damn it! After detecting Lu Qi, Mo Tianji cursed. She knew Lu Qi. He was a top expert of the human race. She was currently an 8-star emperor and didn't have the confidence to defeat Lu Qi. Mo Tianji wouldn't do something she wasn't confident in. Night Sorrow's 2 nests weren't convenient for her to attack, which gave her a headache. Wait for an opportunity and seize it. This was Mo Tianji's decision. Time passed in this tense atmosphere. Night Sorrow's original body was in a state of enlightenment. Because it took a long time, King Yewu went to the outer region of the void purple light snakes to wait. The pressure of fighting the void purple light snakes was too great. Chapter 1908. King Yewu was looking forward to Night Sorrow's future achievements. He knew that in terms of aptitude, Fen Tian and Night Sorrow weren't on the same level. There was a huge difference. Fen Tian's current achievements were the result of time and hard work. King Yewu estimated that after Night Sorrow's epiphany, even if he couldn't enter the Emperor realm, his destruction and void attributes would be greatly improved. It wasn't that King Yewu had high expectations. It was just that epiphany was too rare. One epiphany was equivalent to thousands or even tens of thousands of years of cultivation. During normal cultivation, the Heaven Tao's influence was mixed together. It was extremely difficult to analyze, deduce, and comprehend. It was like extracting silk from a cocoon. However, the epiphany was different. During the epiphany, one's mind would be the clearest. The heaven and earth's influence would be displayed clearly. It was the process of absorbing and strengthening oneself. Night Sorrow didn't know the situation of the main body. He was looking forward to it too. He didn't know what realm he would reach after the epiphany. However, the longer it lasted, the better. The longer it lasted, the more he would comprehend the heaven and earth's influence. Mo Tianji placed the spatial artifact at the bottom of Star Moon Lake. Every day, she would check on the situation in Star Moon City. Originally, she hoped that Lu Qi was here to do something and would leave after a few days. However, the truth disappointed her. Lu Qi had taken root in Star Moon Lake. Every day, he would guide the cultivation of the heaven monarchs stationed in Star Moon Lake. Sometimes, he would bring a pot of wine to the mountain peak behind the city lord residence to chat with Xiao Gu. Xiao Gu couldn't speak, but his soul spirit fluctuation was no different from an ordinary person. He had his own consciousness and thoughts. Little guy, your current body isn't very beautiful. However, there is a chance for you to become an ordinary person. There are a few heaven and earth treasures that can help you grow muscles. Later on, Night Sorrow and I will help you look for them. I think that even if we have to pay a huge price, Night Sorrow will be willing. Lu Qi smiled and said. He understood Night Sorrow and knew that Night Sorrow would give up everything for the people around him. The golden body Saint Spirit let out a joyful expression. It interacted with the people in Star Moon City every day and hoped that it could become an ordinary person. Mo Tianji was annoyed. She decided to wait. She didn't believe that Lu Qi wouldn't care about what was going on in Heaven Desolate City and God's capital. If something happened there, Lu Qi had to go back. Night Sorrow cultivated steadily every day. His state of mind was good, so he was able to stabilize himself. His cultivation of the spear art was also getting better and better. He was able to combine the concept of the primeval spear art, the aura of the Ling Tian spear art, and the vibrations and waves of the spear art. The new spear art was not an absolute art, but it was very powerful. When the spear art was displayed, his body was surrounded by terrifying tremors and fluctuations. Lin Piaomiao had even thrown her weapon into Night Sorrow's domain. Even King's weapon would be shattered. This kind of power was very frightening. Almost no one's body could reach this level of strength. It was all protective energy, but to withstand this kind of continuous attack, the energy consumption was astonishing. Night Sorrow, what weapon will you use after your original body returns? The reincarnation spear or the heaven desolate halberd? Lin Piaomiao asked. I've been thinking about this problem. If it doesn't work, I'll take the path of fusion. This is also a choice. I have no other choice. Whether it's the characteristics of the heaven desolate halberd or the advantages of the reincarnation spear, I don't want to give them up, Night Sorrow said. It's also difficult for you. The blood cure and evil slaying spear also has an advantage that can't be replaced. You can only think of a solution between the reincarnation spear and the heaven desolate halberd, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. The Grand Elder came to see Night Sorrow and asked about his situation. He found out that Night Sorrow had an epiphany under 30 times time acceleration. Then, he counted with his fingers, looked at Night Sorrow, and left. Because 3 months had passed since the reincarnation battlefield, Night Sorrow had been in an epiphany under 30 times time acceleration. He had been in an epiphany for more than 7 years. It was rare to have an epiphany for 7 years. Besides, before the reincarnation battlefield closed, Night Sorrow's epiphany had already begun. Night Sorrow, can your energy cultivation keep up? If your energy can't keep up and causes the epiphany to end, you'll be at a disadvantage, Lin Piaomiao asked. Yes. This is the tyranny of the heavenly artifact. Little Kong has been providing me with pure energy. My energy cultivation won't fall behind by much, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I'm looking forward to seeing your situation after the epiphany. I hope you can become an emperor straight away, Lin Piaomiao said. It'll be difficult. When I was in seclusion, my understanding of the void and destruction attributes was only around 50%. It won't be easy to cross 20% in one go, Night Sorrow said with a smile. According to your epiphany in the reincarnation world, it has been 5 months in the real world. With 30 times time acceleration, 5 months of epiphany. How many years is that in reality? As long as you don't wake up, your harvest this time is unknown, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. I'm also looking forward to it. If I reach the Emperor realm, my strength will increase by a lot. Night Sorrow said with a smile. He was also looking forward to the results after the epiphany. He was bullied by Mo Tianji for a year. He still had a lot of pent-up anger in his heart. After the desolate city's city lord returned from the reincarnation battlefield, he discussed with King Yewu and the Grand Elder how to deal with the Black Dragons. King Yewu wanted to inform the Golden Dragon King about the situation and the investigation of the dragon language. He wanted to give the Golden Dragon King some time and let the Golden Dragon King make a decision. On this night Sorrow was cultivating, the Grand Elder and Lu Qi came. They wanted the first leader to recruit more members. However, Night Sorrow rejected them. Night Sorrow felt that the first leader was doing well. If they recruited more people, they would have to train again. Grand Elder, it hasn't been long since the first leader finished recruiting new members. Lin Piaomiao said. It's because the first leader's training was very effective. The clan elders of the other clans want their juniors to be stronger, so they want to send their juniors in, the Grand Elder shook his head and said. It's mainly because Night Sorrow, you brought people in this time and completed the mission without any losses. They all trust you, Lu Qi said with a smile. Grand Elder, is it difficult for you because I rejected them? Night Sorrow looked at the Grand Elder and asked. It's fine. I can handle this pressure, the Grand Elder nodded. He liked Night Sorrow's perspective on the big picture. Then recruit some people and train them on the second line. Also, I have a suggestion. The members of the first leader can choose to stay or leave after they reach the emperor realm. If they are forced to leave, it will lead to a constant flow of people, which will make the first leader unstable. If people come and go, the brotherhood won't be stable enough. It won't be good for development. If I stay in this state for a long time, what if I reach the emperor realm? Will I have to leave? With the arrival of a new leader, the team will have to be reorganized, Night Sorrow said. Then I'll talk to the clan elders of the other clans about this. If they don't agree, you won't recruit anyone, the Grand Elder said with a smile. Then, the Grand Elder told Night Sorrow that the soldiers of the first leader had to leave after reaching the emperor realm. This was the reason for the rule. The reason was that the clan elders of the 100 clans wanted to give others and the descendants of the 100 clans more opportunities. If the emperor realm soldiers were still in the first leader, the others wouldn't have the chance to stand out. Chapter 1909. I can understand you. It wasn't appropriate to suggest changing the rules in the past because you had to consider convincing the masses. It wasn't enough to convince the masses in the first army. You had to gain the approval of all the sect elders. You are the Merit Emperor and have made outstanding contributions in 2 battles. They shouldn't have any reason to object, said the Grand Elder. After chatting for a while, the Grand Elder left. He had to make arrangements for this matter as soon as possible. Bringing it up now was different from bringing it up when Night Sorrow reached the Emperor realm. There wouldn't be any gossip if he brought it up now. If he brought it up when Night Sorrow reached the Emperor realm, the other sect elders would think that the Grand Elder was fighting for the benefits of the human race. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao were drinking tea as they talked about what happened just now. Night Sorrow, some things are a responsibility. Why don't you just let it go, said Lin Piaomiao. She felt sorry for Night Sorrow. He was responsible for so many things and so much pressure. Sister Xian, you're right. However, the soldiers in the First Army are worthy of respect. It's my honor to lead them to conquer the world, said Night Sorrow. It's the same. They will feel fortunate to have you as their leader, said Lin Piaomiao. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. Although it was easier to let go, there were some things that he couldn't let go of. Night Sorrow didn't have to worry about the Humanitarian League. The God-slaying team had Sandalwood leading them. Long Jin and Tianyu were also there. He didn't have to worry too much. As for Xingyue City, Night Sorrow didn't have to worry about it because Lu Qi was there. Yishang stayed in his mansion in the heavenly desolate city and cultivated. Every day, he cultivated his lost skills and improved his battle strength. Night Sorrow cultivated for another half a month before the Grand Elder came. Night Sorrow put away his spear and invited the Grand Elder to sit down. Your mixed essence spear technique has changed. You absorbed the essence of King Yewu's Ling Tian spear technique and added in your own comprehension. It is much more profound than my mixed essence spear technique. The Grand Elder said to Night Sorrow. He felt that Night Sorrow was a genius when it came to cultivating spear arts. His decision to teach the primeval spear art to Night Sorrow was not wrong. The Grand Elder can also try to change it, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I'm different from you. I was the one who created the origin spear art. I'm not good at using my soul to control the spear like King Yewu. However, the fusion of spear arts, vibration, and wave techniques is worth a try. I'm going to take advantage of you, the Grand Elder said with a smile. Grand Elder, you're exaggerating. Night Sorrow still hasn't thanked Grand Elder for teaching me, Night Sorrow said as he poured a glass of water for the Grand Elder. You're an outstanding junior of the human race. If I don't teach you some things, who else can I teach? I'm here today to tell you a piece of good news. It's up to the Emperor Realm cultivators to decide whether to become a captain or not. This has already been implemented in the Heaven Wasteland Army. If you enter the Emperor Realm, you can also stay in the First Army, the Grand Elder said. Thank you, Grand Elder, Night Sorrow said. It's a good thing. It's also a pressure and responsibility. I told Night Sorrow to let go, but he doesn't want anything bad to happen to his brothers in the First Army. Lin Piaomiao sat beside Night Sorrow. The Grand Elder nodded. He knew how Night Sorrow felt. How could he not want to let go and do his own things? He had been sitting in the Grand Elder's position because of his responsibility. About the Demon Mountain, did the city lord and my martial uncle find out anything? Night Sorrow thought of another question. After they went there, the Demon Mountain was already empty. All traces had been erased. They saw ordinary dragon-headed people and snake-headed people elsewhere. They confirmed that it was the Demon-Winged Clan and the Black Dragons. The Demon-Winged Clan and the Flying Serpent Clan were mixed bloodlines. In the future, you have to be careful when you meet the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpent Clan. Things are complicated because of their bloodline. If you confirm something, our 100 Races Alliance will declare war on the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpent Clan, the Grand Elder said. Then the Grand Elder and Night Sorrow explained why they didn't really kill the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpent Clan in the past years. It was because everyone lived in the Celestial Realm and wanted to leave a way out for them. But once it was confirmed, the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpent Clan had no possibility of turning back. They could only kill them. M/K, Grand Elder, what's Long Zay's cultivation level? Night Sorrow asked. He should be at the level of the tribulation of the 4 emperors. Why do you ask? His problem will be solved by others, the Grand Elder said. Last time, he brought 2 dragons to the Blood Kirin Mountain to cause trouble. Although it was the Blood Kirin race's matter, they injured my wife. I won't let this matter rest, Night Sorrow said. He was not afraid because of Long Zay's high cultivation level. Instead, he was full of motivation. Take it slow. I'll give you time. You can do it. These experts are accumulated over time, the Grand Elder said. After chatting for a while, the Grand Elder left. He came to inform Night Sorrow about the change in the rules of the Heaven Wasteland Army. In addition, there were more than 30 members of other races of the 100 Races Alliance who wanted to join the First Army. Of course, they were all Imperial Emperors. The First Army would not accept anyone who was not an Imperial Emperor. Only Night Sorrow had 3 special quotas. However, Night Sorrow had not used these 3 special quotas. Mo Tianji had never scolded anyone before. She had always believed that fists could solve any problem. If she could use her hands, she would not speak. But recently, she had been scolding people every day. Who was she scolding? Naturally, she was scolding Lu Qi. Lu Qi stayed in Star Moon City and delayed her a lot. If Lu Qi was not here, Mo Tianji could easily take over Star Moon City. Once she took over the teleportation formation, she could enter the 9 Domains world. Then, she would be able to make a comeback. But because Lu Qi did not leave, Mo Tianji's plan was disrupted. Lu Qi's stay in Celestial Moon City was too stable. After all, it was just a clone. He had come to Celestial Moon City to relax. Qing Lin and Qing Wan would often ask him questions about cultivation. Of course, good wine and good tea were the prerequisites. His days here were very comfortable, and the thought of leaving never crossed his mind. Mo Tianji felt that this was not good. She had to solve this dilemma. After thinking for a while, Mo Tianji decided to control the spatial treasure to get closer. As long as she reached the teleportation formation before Lu Qi, it would be enough. She avoided Lu Qi's interception and teleported to the 9 Domains world. Lu Qi could not go to the 9 Domains world even if he wanted to. After making up her mind, Mo Tianji controlled the shrunken spatial treasure to leave Star Moon Lake. After reaching the shore, she moved slowly toward the teleportation formation. Mo Tianji was very cautious. She only used the wind to move slowly and controlled the energy fluctuations to the minimum. Lu Qi did not notice Mo Tianji's movements. First, he felt that it was very safe and there was nothing abnormal. Therefore, he did not investigate in detail. Chapter 1910. The closer they got to the teleportation formation, the more nervous Mo Tianji became. Even though she had lived for countless years and her state of mind was extremely strong, she still couldn't suppress this feeling. Mo Tianji was not sure that she could survive the next emperor's tribulation without the body of her original body. However, with the body of her original body, she was confident that she could survive the next emperor's tribulation. She was suppressed by Yan Wushuang's soul because Mo Tianji had just gone through the tribulation of the 7 emperors and was in a weak state. Yan Wushuang's soul power had been controlling the human emperor's seal to prevent her from recovering and giving her time to cultivate. After a long time, Mo Tianji had recovered a little. She thought she could defeat Yan Wushuang and see hope. However, night sorrow had appeared and caused her soul to leave her body. Therefore, she had fallen into this situation. Time slipped away. Mo Tianji looked at the teleportation formation again, but she was more cautious. She didn't even move for a few days. Only when she thought it was absolutely safe would she move with the wind and energy fluctuations. Heavenly Wasteland City. Night sorrow cultivated for a while before Zhuodong called him to the encampment of the First Army. Emperor Tang and Elder Spiritual Tree had brought 30 emperors to the encampment of the First Army. Night sorrow needed to receive them. At this time, all the teams had gathered. The 10 squad leaders stood in front of each team, while the 30 newcomers were in a separate team. Seeing Night Sorrow, the 10 squads knocked on their breastplates to show their respect. I'm here to tell you a piece of good news. First of all, the Council of Elders has agreed to change the rules. In the future, when you lead the First Army and cultivate to the Emperor realm, you won't be forced to leave. It's up to you whether you want to stay or leave. Night Sorrow glanced at the 30 newcomers. It could be said that the 30 newcomers had exchanged for the change of the rules. That's great. Even if Captain enters the Emperor realm, he's still our captain. Zhuodong and the others were very happy. I didn't come to the First Army just to go through the motions. We're also not casual brothers. I can't promise that I'll stay in the First Army forever, but I'll at least wait until there's a suitable leader who can take care of you. Only then will I leave, said Night Sorrow. Zhuodong's eyes were full of joy. They knew that as long as Night Sorrow was in the First Army would be glorious. Following that, Night Sorrow walked in front of the 30 rookies. I won't hide it from you. Actually, I wasn't willing to accept you because you were a burden. You might have been a burden to my 300 brothers. However, for some reason, I made some compromises for my 300 brothers. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, the 30 newcomers showed dissatisfaction on their faces. Which of them were not proud and arrogant after cultivating to Sovereign Emperor? They were highly valued by their respective tribes, but Night Sorrow's words were not polite at all. I can understand that all of you are very dissatisfied with my words. You are sovereign emperors, and so am I. I will accept your challenge at any time. If you can win, then I will take back what I just said. If you can't, then obediently lie down. Night Sorrow sized up the 30 people again. I challenge you. Me too. Hearing Yishang's words, someone immediately shouted, and there were a lot of people shouting. They were all sovereign emperors. After being defeated by Night Sorrow, they naturally refused to accept the challenge. Idiots. Flower without words muttered. Idiots. Bilingling also threw out 2 words. Tiger Cold, White Meng Meng, and the others also shook their heads. Perhaps some people did not know Night Sorrow's strength, but they had seen it with their own eyes. Night Sorrow had defeated the Second Army alone and taken back the encampment, which was a display of his strength. In the reincarnation battlefield, he had easily killed the Sovereign Emperor with dragon heads, which was also a display of his strength. How could an ordinary Sovereign Emperor do that? Night Sorrow was an overlord among the Sovereign Emperors. You want to challenge me now? That's fine. You don't have to come one by one. All of you can come together. I want to see the strength of the 30 of you. Night Sorrow raised his arm and pulled out the blood Qilin evil-slaying spear from his back. For our dignity, even if we offend you today, we have to fight for our dignity. Attack! A red-haired man roared and then slashed at Night Sorrow with his battle blade. Night Sorrow's blood Qilin evil-slaying spear shook and executed a new spear art. He did not release his domain, but when the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear was brandished, a domain was naturally formed. The compressed domain trembled, fluctuated, and extended in all directions. This trembling and fluctuation was deep. Other people's domain defense was ineffective. Under the impact of the domain trembling and fluctuation brought by Night Sorrow's spear art, it would be destroyed in an instant. If their defense was ineffective, they could only take a beating. It was also useless to resist. If they tried to block, they would be directly blasted away. Then, they would be whipped by Night Sorrow's blood-chilling evil-slaying spear. As for attacking, Night Sorrow had the space-time realm to protect his body. It could even be said that Night Sorrow was not willing to use the space-time realm. When the Sky Emperor Nirvana palm in his left hand was used, it could affect a large area. Then, the new members in this area would be attacked. In just a moment, the 30 new members were beaten into a sorry state. They could not even stand steadily. Chapter Moose Section O above, stand up straight, don't lie down. Failure is not scary. The key is not to fall, or if you fall, you can't get up. Now, stand firm. Night Sorrow's right hand shook, and the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear fell into the spear pouch on his back. Feel wronged? If it was me, I would feel wronged too. However, there are rules everywhere. Do not accept weaklings. That is the rule of the first territory. Weaklings do not only refer to the strength of one's strength, but also the strength of all aspects. If you can't take this little blow, then go back. Tiger Cold, by Lingling, I'll leave the training of these 30 new members to the two of you. Flower Without Words, you go too. You also need to strengthen the formation. Night Sorrow instructed Tiger Cold, by Lingling, and Flower Without Words. Tiger Cold, by Lingling, and Flower Without Words stood up and tapped their chests with their left hands. After giving the instructions, Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Emperor Tang and Elder Spirit Tree. Sorry for the delay. Go to the commander's office. Night Sorrow will make tea and entertain you. Ha! Well done. These little guys are used to being arrogant in their respective tribes. We need to teach them a lesson. Elder Spirit Tree laughed. Not bad. The soldiers of the First Territory are in good spirits. Tang Zong also nodded with a smile. Both he and Elder Spirit Tree were smiling, but they were extremely shocked. This was because Night Sorrow's strength was not comparable to an Empyrean emperor's. Just now, all 30 rookies had been beaten. Without exception, they were all beaten in the same place, their right legs. In a group battle, it was very difficult to attack the opponent's spot and cause all of them to be hit. After Night Sorrow left, the 30 new members sat on the ground and rubbed their right leg. Sister Lingling, Captain was too ruthless. Our legs were almost broken. A white-clothed youth spoke. He was by Xiaoyu from the nine-tailed fox race. You deserve it. What did I tell you? You listened to everything he said. Weren't you yelling happily just now? How dare you challenge someone like you? Bai Lingling went forward and gave the white-clothed youth a kick. Humph. You're asking for it. This time, I only hit your right leg. If you don't know what's good for you next time, Captain will break both your legs. Tiger Cold snorted. Chapter 1911. In a group battle of the same cultivation level, it was already difficult to win without any losses, not to mention attacking only one spot. In the battle just now, Night Sorrow attacked casually, but all he hit were their right legs. Think about it carefully. If it's easy to be the leader of the First Army, then we don't need the First Vanguard of the 100 Races Alliance to be the leader. From today onwards, you're not allowed to leave the First Army. We'll lift the ban when the three of us are satisfied, Tiger Cold said. Isn't that too cruel? A woman looked at Tiger Cold and said. Cruel? If you think it's cruel, then leave. Didn't you realize that the First Army doesn't want you? Tiger Cold glared at the woman. The newcomers didn't say anything because the First Army, from Night Sorrow to the ordinary soldiers, didn't look them in the eye. They really didn't want them. I don't want to teach a bunch of useless people when the leader asks. I'll give you 2 hours to heal your injuries. After 2 hours, the training will begin. Hu Han left after giving his instructions. He was still practicing the joint attack formation with the brothers of his own team to strengthen his own abilities. After Yi Shang sent off Tang Zong and Elder Ling Shu, he took a look around the First Army and then went to the small martial arts practice field to practice his spear arts. He had to make arrangements for today's matter. He didn't have time to do it personally. The newcomers also started training. They had no reason to be lazy. Not to mention that they were newcomers, the original 10 teams of the First Army were all training. In the evening, Knight Sorrow stopped cultivating and went to the original 10 teams to look at them. He pointed out some shortcomings and personally demonstrated them. Then, he left the First Army. Sister Lingling, the leader didn't look us in the eye. He completely ignored us. Isn't the difference in treatment a little too serious? Bai Xiaoyu muttered. He was Bai Lingling's cousin. How should I put it? You guys haven't reached the level where you need the leader's guidance. You guys can't do anything. His guidance from the beginning to the end? I can only say that I'm sorry, but the leader doesn't have time, Bai Lingling said. Knight Sorrow returned to his residence and had dinner with Lin Piaomiao. Knight Sorrow was quite satisfied with his current lifestyle. Within the 9-domain world, he had his 9-domain doppelgangers accompanying his parents, wife, and children. This doppelganger dealt with matters outside while his main body cultivated. Mo Tianji was still moving towards the teleportation array of Star Moon City. As she moved closer, she felt that her chances were increasing. On this day, he noticed Lu Qi flying towards the mountain peak behind the City Lord Mansion. Mo Tianji took a deep breath. She flashed out of the spatial treasure and rushed towards the teleportation array. She had calculated everything. Once she reached the teleportation array and placed the Saint Spirit stones to activate it, she would have enough time. Lu Qi would not be able to stop her in time. The moment Mo Tianji appeared, Lu Qi knew who she was. His expression changed drastically as he rushed towards her. Mo Tianji's white hair fluttered as she sent the guards flying. Even Shi Lai, who had arrived just in time, was sent flying. Mo Tianji then threw a Saint Spirit stone into the Saint Spirit stone slot of the teleportation formation. The teleportation array glowed and activated. At that moment, Mo Tianji landed on the teleportation array while Lu Qi was still flying. Mo Tianji stood on the teleportation array with a smile on her face. Lu Qi had arrived late. But at that moment, the light on the teleportation array dissipated. The teleportation energy stopped and everything quieted down. The teleportation failed? Mo Tianji did not understand. The teleportation array had already been activated. How could it fail? The teleportation crystal was lit up. The teleportation array was fine. Mo Tianji, how dare you? Lu Qi was furious. He swung his sword at Mo Tianji. Mo Tianji did not know why the teleportation array failed, but it was too late for a second teleportation. In order to prevent Lu Qi from sending other experts to kill her, Mo Tianji left the teleportation array. When Mo Tianji flew out of the teleportation array, her feet shook and the teleportation array shattered. Then, a battle broke out in the sky above Star Moon City. Qing Emperor collected the teleportation crystals that fell from the teleportation array and watched the battle. Knight Sorrow, who was cultivating his spear arts, was shocked. He looked at Lin Piaomiao and said, Sister Xian, Star Moon City is under attack. The teleportation array has been destroyed. The aura belongs to Mo Tianji. Let's go back and help, Lin Piaomiao said. Knight Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao did not have time to inform anyone. They took the teleportation array back to Ethereal Imperial City. Then, they teleported to Greenwater City, which was the closest city to Star Moon City. Then, they flew back to Star Moon City. Sister Xian, don't worry. Mo Tianji was teleporting to 9-domain world. I sensed it. I controlled the teleportation crystal's power of law and stopped the teleportation, Night Sorrow said. She must have used some method to hide from Seventh Elder and entered the teleportation array. Seventh Elder had enough time to react after the teleportation stopped. She is no match for Seventh Elder now, Lin Piaomiao said. At this moment, Lu Qi waved his long sword. Sword Qi filled the sky and rushed towards Mo Tianji. He was extremely angry. If it wasn't for the accident during the teleportation, Mo Tianji would have already rushed into the Nine Regions world. If that happened, things would be serious. He would be responsible for it. He wouldn't be able to answer to the Great Elders and King Yiwu. How could Mo Tianji not be angry when Lu Qi was angry? The plan was going well. But at the last moment, something went wrong with the teleportation. Now, she had to bear Lu Qi's anger. Mo Tianji had no problem dealing with Lu Qi when she was at her peak. But now, Mo Tianji had the strength of an 8-star emperor. She could not compare to Lu Qi. She could only retreat. As Mo Tianji retreated, Lu Qi chased after her. Lu Qi, you ruined my plan. I will kill you. Mo Tianji's body flashed. She dodged Lu Qi's sword Qi attack. But as she spoke, she slowed down. Lu Qi's sword Qi penetrated her protective shield and went through her waist. Mo Tianji's white hair danced. Then, she used her movement technique, Heavenly Concubine Phantom. Although Mo Tianji had estimated Lu Qi's strength, she still underestimated him. Lu Qi pointed his sword at the sky and then slashed downwards. Countless sword Qi flew towards Mo Tianji. Back then, Lu Qi was able to turn the tide in Tianhuang City because of his strength. Mo Tianji's white hair retracted and protected her true body. But as the sword Qi collided, Mo Tianji spat out blood. Lu Qi's sword Qi was too overbearing. It was also because Lu Qi was furious and wanted to kill. Demonic wings blood escape. Mo Tianji roared. Then, the wings on her back shone with a blood-red light. Then, she scattered and retreated. K-Yong Ogyo equals 8 freebie read 90,000 novels square root, sky-piercing sword aura. Lu Qi's sword danced again. He used his strongest technique, sky-piercing sword aura. As Lu Qi waved his sword, a blinding sword aura appeared. It flew towards Mo Tianji like lightning. It passed through her right wing. Chapter 1912. Mo Tianji, who burned her essence blood to activate her innate absolute art, was extremely fast. Although she was injured, she still managed to shake Lu Qi off with a few flashes and disappeared from the Star Moon City region. Lu Qi's face was full of anger. This wasn't the result he wanted. When Lu Qi returned to the Star Moon City teleportation array, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao had also arrived. I'm ashamed. I didn't look after this place properly and allowed someone to sneak in. Something big almost happened. Lu Qi said. Seventh Sect Elder, you're overthinking. She probably had her eyes on this place for a long time. Night Sorrow invited Lu Qi into the city lord's residence and brewed a pot of tea. He knew Lu Qi wasn't in a good mood right now. It's my negligence. I didn't expect her to control a spatial treasure and sneak in. Lu Qi was still blaming himself. She probably came to the celestial realm at the same time as me after the reincarnation battlefield appeared. She has been guarding this place ever since. If it wasn't for Seventh Sect Elder, Star Moon City would have already been lost. If she sneaked into the Nine Domain world, we would be in big trouble. Even Night Sorrow was a bit scared. Although his 9-region world clone could immediately take his family into the space, if a middle-class emperor came to cause trouble in the 9-region world, there was no way to stop it. Your teleportation array is very powerful. She couldn't teleport, so I had time to beat her back. Her innate absolute art is very powerful. Although I injured her, I can't make her stay. Lu Qi said. She runs very fast and can't be stopped. I can't chase after her. Night Sorrow was also very conflicted. She used her essence blood to activate her body's potential. She can't use it indefinitely. It's safer for you to return to Sky Desolate City. I'll keep watch here. This won't happen again. Lu Qi said. Night Sorrow took the teleportation crystal that Qing Emperor took back and set up another Emperor-rank teleportation array. He then refined the Emperor-rank teleportation crystal again. This time, the refinement had increased the restrictions. As long as the amount of energy carried exceeded the amount of energy Night Sorrow had in his body, he would not be able to teleport. For example, if he carried a large amount of Holy Spirit stones or a cultivator who was stronger than a sovereign emperor in a spatial treasure, he would not be able to teleport. After setting up the teleportation array, Night Sorrow set up a space imprisonment array outside the teleportation array. At the same time, he refined a few array discs and gave them to Qing Emperor and Tang Jianfeng. In order to show his respect, Night Sorrow also gave Lu Qi one. With the space imprisonment array formation, it was impossible to approach the teleportation array silently. Very good. If you do this, the chances of Mo Tianji sneaking in will be very low. It will be almost impossible. After listening to Night Sorrow's explanation, Lu Qi felt more at ease. Yi Shang then asked the Azure Supreme Darch to open up the defensive array formation of Star Moon City, preparing for a full-scale defense. Under Lu Qi's supervision, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao returned to Tianhuang City. After entering the residence, Night Sorrow saw the Grand Elder and Lu Qi's original body. Your martial uncle will be here soon, the Grand Elder said. Night Sorrow nodded and sat down. He knew this matter was very serious. Mo Tianji, one of the three great heavens of the Devil Wing clan, had arrived. This was a danger to the celestial realm. He had to find her. In just a moment, King Yawu arrived. Following which, Lu Qi told him about Mo Tianji's appearance and her cultivation. Middle-class emperor. There are many people in the celestial realm who can counter her. It shouldn't be a problem. King Yawu said. Martial uncle, Mo Tianji's cultivation realm is high. Her strength will increase quickly. When she first entered the reincarnation battlefield, she was still a sovereign emperor. Night Sorrow expressed his opinion. Her cultivation realm is high. She will increase quickly in the early stages, but it won't be so easy in the later stages. This involves the compatibility of the soul and body. How can someone else's body compare to her original body? In a short period of time, it won't be easy for her to increase her strength. King Yawu said. Mo Tianji came to the celestial realm for a few reasons. First, she wants to take back her original body. Second, it's about her reincarnation. Other than these two, she probably wants to find allies and spies. Grand Elder said. She wants to take back her original body, so she wants to target me. The 9 region world portals are guarded by the 7 sect elders. With some defensive formations, Mo Tianji won't be able to break in. Misty Imperial City's Night Moon Villa has the defensive formation set up by Martial Uncle. With Uncle Shiguan there, it's safe. Therefore, she won't be able to do anything to me. Now, the focus is on other directions. Night Sorrow said. She won't dare to go to the divine capital. She might go to the black dragons and the flying serpents, or find a place to cultivate. King Yawu thought for a moment and said. Grand Elder, find a fortune teller and get rid of her. That way, she'll be safe. Night Sorrow was a little puzzled. A fortune teller was enough. Why did they need to make deductions? How can Mo Tianji not know about fortune telling? She must have a treasure that can disrupt the heavenly secrets and prevent divination. Even if she doesn't have a treasure, she'll find a way to prevent the fortune teller from divining her. Grand Elder said. Night Sorrow sighed helplessly. He was taking things for granted. Then, King Yawu and Grand Elder decided to mobilize the spies of the various forces in the 100 Races Alliance. The Divine Devil Castle also issued a mission regarding Mo Tianji. They couldn't let Mo Tianji settle down and wander around the celestial realm as she pleased. Then, they arranged for experts to wait outside the black dragons and the flying serpents. King Yewu, Grand Elder, and Lu Qi left. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao were left to think about what to do next. Sister Xian, we should go back to the Misty Imperial City to capture her. Maybe there's a small chance that we can capture her. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a moment. How is that possible? Mo Tianji is an expert of the older generation. She has a lot of experience. If she doesn't come out, it'll be hard for us to find her. I understand that you want to capture her, but it's better to be safe, Lin Piaomiao said. Sister Xian, you've overlooked a problem. I've told you before that I planted a soul imprint on Mo Tianji's hair and skirt. She might have changed her skirt, but the soul imprint at the root of her hair should still be there. As long as we're within a certain range, I'll be able to sense her. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao and told her his thoughts. That's right. We can give it a try. If we meet her, we'll call for someone to take care of her. Lin Piaomiao was very excited after hearing Night Sorrow's words. She also felt that they could give it a try. What do you mean we can give it a try? If you want to take care of someone, how can you not call for us? The Great Demon King, Pu Luo, and the others entered Night Sorrow's residence. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. Night Sorrow recounted what had happened that day. Chapter 1913. That's fine. Although the chances of catching her aren't high, we can still try. Rui Si said. Not high. I don't think so. We all know how powerful she used to be. People like her don't believe in anything but strength. Therefore, I don't think she's gone too far. She's probably lying nearby healing. Yu Zhu refuted Rui Si's opinion and expressed her own opinion. Yu Zhu's thinking is correct. People like Mo Tianji believe in strength. Let's go near Star Moon Lake. Lin Piaomiao said. Soon after, the Humanitarian League set off and went to Misty Dynasty's region. After receiving news that Night Sorrow and the others set off, the Grand Elder began to worry. He was worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Mo Tianji's main target was Night Sorrow. She was here for Night Sorrow. Don't worry, the Humanitarian League's people are all ruthless. They are going to catch Mo Tianji. She wouldn't dare send herself to them. King Yewu, who was drinking tea with the Grand Elder, laughed. That's true. They are all rather strong. Taking care of a middle-class emperor shouldn't be a problem. The Grand Elder sat down. He knew he was too worried. Night Sorrow and the others started searching near Star Moon Lake. Night Sorrow carefully sensed. As long as Mo Tianji was nearby, he would be able to detect her. Even if she entered a spatial treasure, her aura would still leak out. Night Sorrow and the others weren't in a hurry. They started flying around Star Moon Lake. When they were tired, they would roast some fish to go with wine. After searching for half a month, they had searched all around Star Moon Lake. They had practically searched all the areas 1,000,000 miles away from the shore. Yu Zhu, it seems like your analysis was wrong. Perhaps she ran out and hid in another region to heal. Rui Si said. Not necessarily. It's just that we haven't found her yet. Yu Zhu insisted on her opinion. Maybe we thought she was a coward. Maybe she didn't even leave Star Moon Lake. Let's just fly above the lake and search for her. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and came to a decision. She can't be that bold, right? Reese looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. You're not her, so you won't think about her decisions. Let's just do it like this. We'll just treat this as a sightseeing tour around Star Moon Lake, Night Sorrow said. Reese did not say anything because Rain Bamboo, Big Demon King, and Pu Luo agreed with what Night Sorrow said. Reese felt that Night Sorrow's idea was bold, but it wasn't impossible. At this moment, Mo Tianji was at the bottom of Star Moon Lake, recuperating in her spatial treasure. She was very annoyed. She didn't understand at the time, but she thought about it later. It was probably because the teleportation array had set up a restriction. She didn't know why, but she didn't meet the requirements for the teleportation array, so the teleportation array stopped after it was activated. Mo Tianji couldn't wait to kill Lu Qi because Lu Qi had caused her failure. But first, she had to recover from her injuries. Lu Qi had caused her quite a bit of damage. Lu Qi's soaring sword aura was wreaking havoc in her body, trying to destroy her body. This was one of the reasons why Mo Tianji didn't go far. She stayed at the bottom of Star Moon Lake. If she continued to run, she would have to burn her essence blood, which was very damaging to her body. Mo Tianji's realm was high, but healing required energy. She was an 8-star emperor, so it was very difficult for her to expel and refine the soaring sword aura that Lu Qi had left in her body. She had been refining it for a long time in the time acceleration, but she had only refined a small part of it. It would take a long time to completely refine it. Mo Tianji was helpless. She couldn't move because she had been exposed. The celestial realm would be on guard against her. Even if she went out now, she wouldn't be able to do anything. It was better for her to recover in peace. After searching half of Star Moon Lake, there were still no results. Night Sorrow brought the Humanitarian League group to Star Moon City. Everyone needed to rest. After resting for a day, Night Sorrow and the others planned to continue searching. Night Sorrow, Mo Tianji ran from the northwest direction. She was in a hurry, so she shouldn't have changed directions, said Lu Qi, who knew about Night Sorrow and the others' plan. Yi Shan slapped his forehead. During this period of time, he had been investigating the Star Moon Lake area to the east of Star Moon City, so he hadn't thought to ask Lu Qi. After knowing the direction Mo Tianji had gone, Night Sorrow started searching in that direction. Lu Qi had lost track of Mo Tianji after chasing for a while because Mo Tianji had burned her essence blood to use her innate talent. In such a situation, she had to either leave quickly or hide after leaving Lu Qi's search range. According to Yu Zhu's point of view, Mo Tianji wouldn't have gone too far. So, they just had to follow the path and search slowly. It would be best if they could find something, but if not, it would just be a waste of energy. After Night Sorrow and the others passed Lu Qi's search range, they started searching slowly. On the second night, Yi Shang raised his arm and stopped the people behind him because he felt a faint soul aura from himself. "What's going on?" asked Lin Piaomiao. "I feel my soul presence, but I can't pinpoint its location. It means it's not in the same space as me, but it's not too far away," Night Sorrow said and retreated with the others. He knew Mo Tianji's soul power was very strong. If they got too close, Mo Tianji's soul power would detect them. After retreating to an area that Night Sorrow thought was safe, they stopped. So excited. "What should we do?" asked Reese. "It's still difficult because I can't pinpoint her exact location. If we search recklessly, she'll be alerted." "I'm afraid she'll run away once she's alerted," said Night Sorrow. "Alliance Master, don't worry. The 7th sect elder injured her. Pu Luo shouldn't be a problem. Plus, that cunning woman is still injured," said Reese. "What do you all think?" Night Sorrow looked at the people around him. "Damn, she's just an 8-star emperor. No matter how famous she was in the past, she's weak now," said the Great Demon King. "Then let's continue searching. Everyone, get ready to attack at any time. If we make a big commotion, she'll notice and run away at any time. Everyone, keep your soul power in check." After Yi Shang finished speaking, he went to the area where he had sensed the aura and slowly searched the area ahead. After moving forward for a while, Night Sorrow realized the feeling had weakened. Then, he returned to the place where the feeling was the strongest. Then, he searched left and right to confirm the area where the feeling was the strongest. Because they weren't in the same space, Night Sorrow could only confirm the distance before he could confirm the location. Chapter 1914. Inside the spatial treasure, Mo Tianji was refining Lu Qi's soaring sword force. When the energy in her body was almost depleted, Mo Tianji decided to take some elixirs to recover. While taking the elixirs, she used her soul power to scan outside the spatial treasure. Mo Tianji's expression changed. Mo Tianji's expression changed. She had discovered Yi Shang and the others. This was a fatal crisis for her. She was not in a good state at the moment. Her body was still ravaged by the soaring sword force and the after-effects of burning her essence blood. Besides, Mo Tianji also knew that the people searching for her were not newbies. Pu Luo was a registered expert in the Demon Wing clan. After all, there were only so many law enforcement elders in the 100 Races Alliance. There were not many who were strong in combat, and Pu Luo was one of them. Lin Piaomiao and the Great Demon King were also recorded in the Demon Wing clan. They were not elders, but their combat strength was outstanding. They had once led a group to heavily injure the Demon Wing clan. Otherwise, the Demon Wing clan would not have used Yu Kun to ambush the group led by Lin Piaomiao and the Great Demon King. Yu Zhu and Rui Si were also recorded. They were the two strongest elders beside Pu Luo. Now that they were all here, Mo Tianji felt the severity of the situation. She did not dare to act rashly. After thinking about it, Mo Tianji felt that she could only risk her life. She was sure that Night Sorrow and the others had already discovered her. As for how, she did not know. Night Sorrow, are you sure she's here? The Great Demon King's voice rang in their divine seas. This was Pu Luo's suggestion. They communicated through soul voice transmission. Mo Tianji was nearby. Even if she could not hear Night Sorrow and the others' conversation, she could tell from their lips. Yes, I'm sure she's nearby. She should be in a spatial treasure. She's not in the same spatial world as us, so I can't pinpoint her exact location. I can only use my senses to narrow down the range. Night Sorrow's voice rang in their divine seas. Then continue to narrow down the range. The smaller the range, the better. Once it's small enough, we can catch her, said Pu Luo. Then, they continued to search. In order to prevent Mo Tianji from ambushing Night Sorrow, Pu Luo followed closely behind Night Sorrow. In the end, Night Sorrow narrowed the range to a radius of 5 kilometers. He could not reduce the range any further. You guys split up and block the way. I'll grab her. The Great Demon King arrived at the center of the 10-mile radius. He stretched out his arms and released his domain, enveloping the 10-mile radius area. Mo Tianji, there's no way you wouldn't know that we've made such a big commotion to capture you. But don't move. If you move, we'll discover you. You can't stay still either. Overturn the rivers and seas, fire of destruction. The Great Demon King shouted at Mo Tianji. Then, he shook his arms. The lake water within a radius of 12 miles flew up and compressed into a ball of water. Then, the Great Demon King released a ball of black fire to envelop it. As the black flames burned, the water balls condensed from the lake water within a radius of 10 miles evaporated continuously, then turned into nothingness. If Mo Tianji's spatial Dharma treasure was in the lake water, it would not be refined but would be discovered. It's not in the water. The Great Demon King looked at the soil at the bottom of the lake. However, he asked Night Sorrow mentally if he could still feel it. After receiving Night Sorrow's confirmation, the Great Demon King smiled. You're hiding it very well. Again. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. The Great Demon King grabbed the air with his right hand and pulled out a large piece of soil from the bottom of the lake. Then, he continued to refine it with the fire of destruction. Mo Tianji knew that if she did not move, she would be in a passive position. The Great Demon King would soon discover her location. When the Great Demon King pulled out soil and sand from the bottom of the lake again, Mo Tianji moved. She directly used the heavenly concubine phantom. After countless phantoms appeared, Mo Tianji's real body appeared in the area between Night Sorrow and Yu Zhu. Then, she used the demonic wings blood escape. Fight? Mo Tianji did not want to fight because it was unrealistic. There was no one to bully here. Of course, Night Sorrow was easier to bully, but she could not bully him either. Her real body is here. Desolate Destruction Palm. Night Sorrow shouted. Then, he sent out a palm with the strongest control effect. After sending out a palm with his left hand, Knight Sorrow stabbed the blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear in his right hand at Emotienji's figure, which he felt the strongest. The power of virtue supported the blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear as he used the Destruction True Dragon incantation. How could Emotienji fight with Knight Sorrow? Yu Zhu and Lin Piaomiao had already charged over. Emotienji's 3,000 feet long white hair danced in the air and broke through Knight Sorrow's Sky Emperor Destruction Palm's control of space. Then, her figure flashed as she used the demonic shadow blood escape. Knight Sorrow's Destruction True Dragon incantation's confinement effect was dispersed by Emotienji's white hair. However, the spear light still shot into Emotienji's chest. After a muffled groan, Emotienji's figure instantly sped up to an unimaginable speed. She didn't dodge Knight Sorrow's attack because she didn't want to be interrupted. Pu Luo and the Great Demon King started to chase. The others followed closely behind. Among them, Pu Luo and the Great Demon King were the fastest. Knight Sorrow used the Void Step, but he still couldn't catch up. Lin Piaomiao was pulling Knight Sorrow forward. The speed of an Imperial Emperor and an Imperial Emperor's Tribulation Cultivator couldn't be compared, even if you were good at speed. This treacherous woman can even burn her essence blood? Yu Zhu cursed. Burning my essence blood is better than being surrounded, Lin Piaomiao said. Emotienji used her soul power to detect the pursuers behind her. She burned her essence blood and sped up. She had to get rid of them. After a while, Knight Sorrow shook his head helplessly. He couldn't feel his soul power. This meant that the distance between them was too far. He wasn't strong enough. This was the reason why he couldn't catch up. 15 minutes later, Knight Sorrow and the others saw Pu Luo and the Great Demon King. Knight Sorrow, I'm sorry. This woman burned her essence blood without caring about the cost. We couldn't catch up, Pu Luo said apologetically. This woman is good at escaping. We didn't want this to happen. No one needs to apologize. Knight Sorrow smiled at Pu Luo. We miscalculated. Let's not tell anyone about this. Otherwise, we'll be scolded, the Great Demon King said. Ha! This is our mistake. If we inform the Grand Elder or King Yewu, this woman won't be able to escape. She got lucky this time. It's just that the Alliance Master gave her a shot, Pu Luo said. It's okay. She burned her essence blood twice. The after effects are probably very serious. She'll be obedient from now on. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. He knew that no one wanted this to happen. It'll be hard for her to use the strength of an Imperial Emperor. Her body can't take it. Her body will collapse if she uses the power of an Imperial Emperor. Pu Luo nodded. Do you think she'll notice the soul imprint I left on her? If not, we can continue to catch her, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Chapter 1915. This time, Emotienji ran far away. She ran tens of millions of miles. Her body was very weak, so she went into the spatial treasure to rest. After entering the spatial magical treasure, Emotienji immediately released her domain and enveloped the inside of the magical treasure. She knew that she had something that Yi Shang and the others could use to locate her. If she wanted to be safe and recover, she had to solve this problem. Emotienji checked the items in the spatial treasure and storage ring one by one. She didn't find any problems. Then, Emotienji looked at herself and scanned her body with her soul power. When her soul power scanned her body, a light appeared under the hair at the back of her head. Bastard! No wonder I couldn't catch you in the reincarnation battlefield. You left a soul mark. Emotienji directly scattered the soul mark. The more Emotienji thought about it, the angrier she got. She had been famous for countless years and had never suffered any losses. No one could scheme against her. But recently, she had fallen one after another because of Knight Sorrow. Because she didn't scheme against Knight Sorrow. After scattering Knight Sorrow's soul mark, Emotienji rubbed her chest. Her chest had been pierced by Knight Sorrow's spear light. Her robe was pierced and the place where she was attacked still hurt. Looking at the torn robe, Emotianji searched and found that there was only one set of robe in her storage ring. Now, she could only change into it. With energy circulating, the robe was not dirty. After returning to Xingyue City, Night Sorrow called for a feast. The people from the Humanitarian League were unhappy because they had been careless and let Emotianji escape. 2Y Update K New Fastest X0 Jiebilu Chi was a bit puzzled. The people from the Humanitarian League were all cheerful people. They weren't like this normally. What's wrong with you guys? It's fine if you didn't find her. There's no need to be unhappy. Lu Chi said. I thought of a problem. After she is safe, she will definitely check herself. The soul mark I left in her hair will definitely be found. But today, she is wearing a purple robe. I also left a soul imprint on her white silk skirt. The purple robe was cut by my spear. Is it possible for her to wear the white silk skirt again? Night Sorrow looked at Pu Luo and the others and said. There really is such a possibility. Pu Luo's eyes lit up. What are you talking about? Could it be that you found Emotianji and she ran away? Lu Chi was stunned. Yes. She burned her blood essence and used her innate skill. We couldn't stop her. We chased her for millions of miles, but she ran away again. Pu Luo said. You're all foolish. Since you found her, you'll naturally find more helpers to kill her directly. Lu Chi glanced at Pu Luo. Seventh Elder, don't tell the Grand Elder about this. We'll get scolded. We'll continue to capture them, Night Sorrow said to Lu Chi. No, you just didn't think of it. She burned her blood essence again. She's having a hard time. Lu Chi smiled. He knew that Night Sorrow and the others were unhappy. There was no point in scolding them, so he comforted them. Night Sorrow shot her with his spear. I chased her for a while and made her burn a lot of blood essence. Pu Luo said. Seventh Elder, drink this jar of good wine. Night Sorrow took out a jar of green blood wine and gave it to Lu Chi. Actually, you've already won. You were able to find her and trick her. That's already very good. Lu Chi opened the jar of green blood wine that Night Sorrow gave him and poured a cup for everyone. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow and the others left. They still wanted to look for her. Emotianji didn't stay in the same place this time. She recovered a little and left after scouting. She had to find a safe place to rest. The Humanitarian League's people were crazy. She was worried that she would be dug up again. Also, she couldn't go to human territory. She reckoned that the entire celestial realm was looking for her. After a fruitless search, Night Sorrow and the others returned to the ethereal imperial city. Lin Piaomiao ordered all the cities in the Misty Dynasty, even the small towns and villages, to pay attention to Emotianji's whereabouts. Pu Luo gave the order of the law enforcement clan elder. All the surrounding factions were to put Emotianji on the wanted list. He also personally went to the Godly Devil Castle to request for Emotianji's arrest. At the same time, he gave the mission of guarding the teleportation portals. After the arrangements were made, Night Sorrow and the others stayed in the ethereal imperial city. Emotianji's activities were also in this area. She couldn't use the teleportation portals. If she wanted to fly and travel in the celestial realm, it would be exhausting. Are you still thinking about Emotianji? Lin Piaomiao came to Night Sorrow, who was thinking by the waterside pavilion. It's a pity. I should have prepared some backup plans. The main thing is that I underestimated her. If we could get rid of her, we would have gotten rid of a huge threat, Night Sorrow said as he nodded. Just now, I brought a clairvoyant to Xingyue City and followed her traces. The results weren't clear. She has a way to avoid divination, Lin Piaomiao said. What we're worried about now is her sneak attack. However, I have a way to deal with that. Last time, my 9-domain world clone grabbed a strand of her white hair. That strand of white hair is with me. If Mo Tianji gets close, that strand of white hair will definitely react, said Yishang. Yes. As long as we don't let her get my body and harm Jun Xuanji, there's no point for her to come to the celestial realm. Lin Piaomiao's eyes lit up. She felt that Night Sorrow's thoughts were indeed meticulous. He could even think of some problems. Night Sorrow returned to the 9-domain world and obtained Mo Tianji's hair from the 9-domain world clone. He didn't pull the hair of Mo Tianji's body because it would alert her. Night Sorrow cut off a strand of hair and gave it to Lu Qi. Holding the strand of hair, Lu Qi understood what it meant. This is good. She'll know once she gets close. Lu Qi wrapped the strand of hair around her finger and used her energy to stimulate it. As long as Mo Tianji appeared, the strand of hair would react. After returning to the ethereal imperial city, Night Sorrow left a strand of Mo Tianji's white hair for Shi Yan, who was staying in the Night Moon Villa. Next, he went to the God capital and left another strand of hair for Shi Yan's body. It could be said that Mo Tianji shouldn't get close to these 3 places or she would be discovered. After doing all this, Night Sorrow returned to the Night Moon Villa in the ethereal imperial city. After settling down, Night Sorrow cultivated his spear art every day. His few absolute arts were already very mature. However, without his body, there was a limit to what his clone could do. Mo Tianji found a safe place to start recovering. She knew that it would take a long time for her to fully recover, but this was something that couldn't be helped. She had carelessly fallen into Night Sorrow's trap. She planned to recover first before going to the Black Dragons and start her plan from there. Chapter 1916. So it's Lord Seven Rain Monarch. I wonder if Lord Monarch has any plans for Night Sorrow? Night Sorrow asked. Nothing much. I just want to talk to you for a bit. Come to my residence. The Seven Rain Monarch sized up Night Sorrow. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, Lord Monarch's residence? Isn't that too far? I can't leave right now. Night Sorrow hesitated before speaking. It's not far. I have a residence in 9 Heaven City. Let's go. The Seven Rain Monarch waved his arm and wrapped Night Sorrow in energy as they began to fly. A moment later, they arrived in front of a luxurious residence. In front of the residence, the Seven Rain Monarch released Night Sorrow, who was wrapped in energy. This is my residence in 9 Heaven City. Don't experts cultivate their bodies and minds, and live in simple and elegant courtyards? Yi Shan said as he looked at the incomparably luxurious mansion. You don't want to live a good life and choose to live like a monk? That's stupid. There's something wrong with your mind. The Seven Rain Monarch scoffed at Night Sorrow's opinion. That's not it either. Maybe it's because we have different pursuits. Night Sorrow said. Maybe. Come, let's go in and have a cup of tea. Then you can go back. You might have to go into seclusion from tomorrow onwards. The Seven Rain Monarch swayed his skirt and entered the residence. Night Sorrow had no reason not to enter. Besides, Night Sorrow felt that the Seven Rain Monarch didn't have any evil intentions. A monarch wouldn't have any thoughts about a holy king. Even if he did, he wouldn't have to waste so much effort. There were too many ways. Sit. I just have a few things to say. Those bastards are all watching. If I don't talk to you today, I won't have the chance tomorrow. The Seven Rain Monarch said. Lord Seven Rain's Monarch, please speak. I, Night Sorrow, am all ears, Night Sorrow said. Have some tea first. It's like this, you are from a small world, and the profound heaven world is not your home. It doesn't matter which large world you live in. This Great One has invited you to the Seven Rain world, and you can join this Great One's Seven Rain Valley. You don't have to be in a hurry to reject. The Seven Rain Sovereign brewed a pot of tea and poured a cup for Night Sorrow. Master Monarch, I am a half-king now. Even a king shouldn't be so serious, right? Night Sorrow said with a smile. Yes, but you are different. I have high hopes for you. You might not agree for the time being. Young people are stubborn. So, whenever you have any ideas, you can come to the Seven Rain world to find me. This is my messaging crystal. Take it. The Seven Rain Monarch tossed a messaging crystal to Night Sorrow. Lord Monarch, is this appropriate? Night Sorrow was a little taken aback because the Seven Rains Monarch's words were very formal and very serious. It's appropriate. When you are in danger, you can crush this messaging crystal. I might be able to help you once. However, when that time comes, don't reject this great one. The Seven Rains Monarch said with a smile. Thank you for your kindness, Seven Rains Monarch. Night Sorrow will remember your kindness today. Night Sorrow stood up and clasped his hands towards the Seven Rains Monarch. Good. You have to go to the Will of Heaven and Earth cave to cultivate within the next 100 years. When you come out of seclusion, you might be greeted with a storm. The Grey Cloud Monarch and the Moon Monarch are both vengeful people. They will not let you off easily. If you can't take it, the Seven Rains world is a good place for you to go. The Seven Rains Monarch said with a smile. Night Sorrow will remember. Night Sorrow nodded. Alright, then you can go back. I think the people around you are also very anxious. The Seven Rains Monarch said when he saw Night Sorrow. After clasping his hands towards the Seven Rains Monarch again, Night Sorrow walked out of the mansion's main hall. Just as Night Sorrow was about to leave the main hall, the Seven Rains Monarch said, Night Sorrow, this great one is very curious about your title. Is it convenient for you? If it's convenient, you can tell me. This great one is too curious. It's fine if it's inconvenient. Standing at the entrance of the main hall, Night Sorrow considered whether he should say it or not. If he said it, it might cause trouble. If he didn't say it, he would be letting down the Seven Rains Monarch's kindness. It would make him feel uncomfortable. I received a title when I was in the small world. In the Nine Heavens Pagoda, this title has been strengthened. It is now called Immortal. Night Sorrow said and walked out of the main hall. Don't worry. This great one will keep this secret for you. Before you have the power to protect yourself, you have to keep it a secret as well. When Night Sorrow walked out of the mansion, the Seven Rains Monarch's voice entered Night Sorrow's ears. Hearing the Seven Rains Monarch's words, Night Sorrow felt at ease. The Seven Rains Monarch's words were kind. If he had bad intentions, he wouldn't have been able to leave this mansion. After Night Sorrow left, the Seven Rains Monarch couldn't calm down for a long time. She knew that she was right about Night Sorrow. The immortal title was too terrifying. Even monarchs didn't dare to say that they were immortal. As for whether Night Sorrow's title was official or not, the Seven Rains Monarch didn't doubt it. She didn't understand the world Night Sorrow had lived in. Perhaps it was very small. The title bestowed to Night Sorrow might not be official. However, this time, Nine Heavens world recognized Night Sorrow's title. The title was strengthened by the Nine Heavens Pagoda. This meant that it was effective. At the very least, the Nine Heavens world recognized it. What was the situation in the Nine Heavens world? It was the core of a group of worlds. It was a large world in the 100 worlds. The recognition of the Nine Heavens world was equivalent to the recognition of the heavenly Tao. Good. The Nine Heavens world group finally has an outstanding youth. The Seven Rains Monarch took a big sip of tea and said. Night Sorrow left the Seven Rains Monarch's mansion and flew directly to the guest house. Ha! You're back. You've been drinking for so long. Qian Jinyu said with a smile. At this time, there was a banquet in the courtyard of the guest house. Night Sorrow's parents, Wu Lingfei, Zhu Jiuyun, Xue Shi, and Night Sorrow's 3 wives were all present. Night Sorrow wasn't from the Xiantian dynasty, but he was from the mysterious sky world. The mysterious sky world was the representative of the mysterious sky world. Night Sorrow had done his best to win face for the mysterious sky world, which meant that he had won glory for the mysterious sky world. Sorry. I've made everyone wait for a long time. Night Sorrow said. you're so domineering. This time, you showed off a lot. Qian Ziwei said with a smile. It wasn't easy. Night Sorrow nodded at Qian Ziwei. Is not equal to mi o is not equal to bai is not equal to ga is not equal to. It really wasn't easy. Although you drank one meal, you still have to drink this one. Qian Zhenyu said. Brother, you're so domineering. Qian Yu said as he patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. After drinking, Qian Zhenyu said, your original body will go into seclusion. Your clone will stay behind. You can be with your family and deal with some trivial matters. I think so too. It's meaningless for my clone to follow my original body to cultivate. It's better to go back and cultivate blacksmithing and array formation. Night Sorrow nodded. Brother, when you return to the mysterious sky world, come to the mysterious sky world first. Take your siblings and have a good time. They've been worried sick for the past few days. Qian Yu said with a smile. After returning to his room, Night Sorrow pondered. He felt that it would be difficult for him to have peace in the future. This time, he had stirred up trouble. He was worried that the Tianding Gate wouldn't be able to withstand the revenge of the Zhangyan monarch and the Moon monarch. Chapter 1917. Then, Beixing brought the 8-dragon cauldron to the 2 extreme cities' teleportation array. The guards of the 2 extreme cities' teleportation array stopped Beixing. I want to go to the 9-domain world. I'm Night Sorrow's friend. Beixing said. Hearing that he was Night Sorrow's friend, the guards let him go because Yan Tianpo's voice transmission had reached their ears. After 2 teleportations, Beixing arrived at the city in the sky. After exiting the city in the sky's teleportation array, Night Sorrow, Xueshi, and the rest came out of the 8-dragon cauldron. Comfortable. Night Sorrow stretched his back. At this moment, Xikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, and Aoi appeared in front of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow did not say anything and went forward to hug each of them. Why did you come back? Yang Lei asked. Can you come back home and let me have a cup of tea first? Oh right, this is my friend Beixing. He's a very good friend. Night Sorrow introduced. The 3 sisters are so beautiful. Mei Lan, Qiu Ju, each has their own style. Night Sorrow, you're so lucky. Beixing said with a smile. Then, the group arrived at Night Sorrow's residence. Yang Lei also went to the Spacetime Pagoda to inform those who had not broken through that Night Sorrow had returned. After a while, everyone who was cultivating in the Spacetime Pagoda came out. Seeing Night Sorrow, everyone was very happy. Under his mother's Yu Qing's questioning, Night Sorrow told her about his situation in the Sky Profound world. Of course, he did not say anything about the dangerous things. Then, Night Sorrow told her about his thoughts and decision. Great. After we have our own city, we will have a firm foothold in the Sky Profound world. Sky Underworld Saint said happily. Currently, we can only build and not make it public because we can't withstand the attacks of others. We can only wait for Night Sorrow to enter the King Realm before we have the capital to establish ourselves. Zhu Jiuyun said. That's right. We can't publicize it for now, but the construction of the city can begin, Night Sorrow said. Without a King Realm cultivator, we don't have enough confidence. I don't know how long it will take for our faction to have a King Realm cultivator. It's quite depressing, Jun Xuanji sighed. Ha! This is the situation that no one is clear about. If it wasn't for Yi Shang wanting to achieve greater things, he might have already entered the Sovereign King Realm. Wu Lingfei smiled and explained Yi Shang's situation. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. King's Realm was unreachable in their eyes. It was a realm that was very far away. Everyone only had a wish for a king to appear in the 9 Realms world, but now, Wu Lingfei said that Night Sorrow had already reached this level. Night Sorrow is now a dual attribute half-step king. Once he takes another step forward, king will be no match for him, Zhu Jiuyun said. All right. Long Xianxing roared. This roar gave everyone a fright. Commander, leave the construction of the city to us. You can go and cultivate in peace, Long Xianqing said. After a discussion, everyone felt that it was very suitable to place the transfer array in the city in the sky. This was because there were no outsiders here, and everyone was a core member of the Nine Realms world. Everyone agreed, and Yi Shang set up the interrealm teleportation array not far from the side of the mansion. Night Sorrow set up 1,000 derivation illusionary array outside the transfer array. At the same time, he told everyone that if anything happened, they just had to insert spirit stones and the array would activate. After installing the realm teleportation crystal, it lit up. Night Sorrow brought everyone to the Seven Nights Mountain to take a look. Everyone was very satisfied with this place, and felt that it was very suitable to build the base of the Nine Realms world here. Father, the transfer array is in the city in the sky, in the territory of the Night Moon Empire. There are more craftsmen building the Seven Nights City in the Night Moon Empire, Night Sorrow said to Yi Wuyo. Alright, that's not a problem. But building a city requires planning and resources, Yi Wuyo nodded. There are spirit stones in here. Father, take them and deal with them as you see fit. Night Sorrow took out 5 to 6 storage rings. Son, we can use the resources of the Nine Realms world directly. So, we can't use the spirit stones, Yu Qing said with a smile. Night Sorrow, we can do this. Build a secret transfer array in the Big Dipper city, and send your people there to purchase resources from other places, then bring them over, Beixing said. Yes. But the people purchasing the resources are too weak. If they are not strong enough, they will be suspicious. Senior Long Xiansheng, you can arrange it as you see fit. But the people who have been to the Tianding Gate must not show themselves, or they will be targeted. Also, set up an ordinary transfer array to connect to other places. The transfer array is currently a secret of the Seven Nights City, so it must be hidden well, Night Sorrow said. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, everyone nodded. The transfer array is extremely valuable, and we cannot afford to lose it. Although the transfer array cannot be attacked, there must be people guarding it. If there is a problem, crush my soul crystal. Night Sorrow gave a soul crystal to Long Xiansheng. Then, he changed to another area and set up another transmission array. Since the transmission crystals were installed, the transmission arrays were separated from the ordinary ones. This way, it would be safer. Then, Night Sorrow asked Wu Lingfei and Zhu Jiuyin's clone to stay here. Originally, Night Sorrow wanted Xueshi to stay as well, but Xueshi was unwilling. She felt that Night Sorrow had to have someone by his side. Then, Night Sorrow, Beixing, and Xueshi left the Seven Nights Mountain and returned to the Big Dipper city. Under Beixing's suggestion, Night Sorrow set up a transfer array in Beixing's private residence. There were guards in Beixing's residence, and Beixing instructed them to destroy the transfer array if any strangers attacked here. G. Cool Square Root. A Craftsman Net version 6. Not long after Night Sorrow set up the transfer crystal, Long Xiansheng, Xian Wenxiu, and the others arrived. Night Sorrow, one of your people should stay here. This way, it will be easier to identify the people entering and leaving the transfer array. The guards in my residence can fight, but they will not recognize your people, Beixing said. Then I will do it, Shang Luo said. Night Sorrow set up another transfer crystal on the transfer array in Beixing's residence. He wanted to set up a transfer array in the Sage Pavilion as well. This way, even if someone was watching him, he could return to the Nine Regions world without any problems. Night Sorrow felt that everything was almost done. He did not have to worry about the construction of the Seven Nights world anymore. Yi Shang calmed down in the Celestial Master Pavilion, but the rest of the world was not. The sovereigns were all wondering whether Yi Shang had obtained the soul cultivation liquid or not. Although they had guessed that Yi Shang's chances of getting it were slim, there was still a chance. If there were only 3 drops, then other than Lord Xian Tian, no one else would have a chance. But what if there were more than 3 drops? If a sovereign went to another sovereign's world, there would be a reason. If a sovereign went to the Xian celestial realm to look for Night Sorrow, Lord Xian Tian would not tolerate it. Chapter 1918. The Zhangyan sovereign did have this thought in mind. However, the consequences of starting a realm war would be dire. He needed to find allies. In terms of strength, the Grey Cloud's sect was not strong enough. The Grey Cloud Sovereign could only control slightly more than half of the Sky Dome realm's strength because the No Beginning Sovereign still controlled a portion of it. Furthermore, the portion controlled by the No Beginning Sovereign was the elite force. In comparison, the Xian Celestial Realm only had one ruler, the Xian Tian Monarch. The entire Xian Celestial Realm was under the control of the Xian Tian Monarch. The Ashen Cloud sect was unable to fight against an entire realm. After pondering for a moment, the Tsangyan Monarch teleported to the Demon Moon world. Just as the Grey Cloud Sovereign arrived at the Demon Moon world, the Demon Moon Sovereign appeared. Of course, it was his soul avatar. Tsangyun, why have you come to my Moon Demon world? The Moon Demon World Overlord looked at the Tsangyan Monarch and asked. You didn't show up recently because of the continent of the 9 clouds. Do you want to be as strong as Monarch Shinshao? Now, we have an opportunity, the Tsangyan Sovereign said. Moon Monarch's face darkened when he heard the Tsangyan Monarch mention the 9 Heavens realm. He had lost face because of the 2 monarchs from the 9 Heavens realm. What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? Net 0-inch soul nurturing liquid. The reason why the Divine Firmament Sovereign is so much stronger than us is because he once used the soul cultivation liquid to nourish his soul. His soul power is strong, and the will of heaven and earth is more effective than us. However, we might have a chance now, the Tsangyan Sovereign said. If there's such a good thing, you, Ash Cloud, will go crazy and snatch it. Will you think of others? I, the Moon Demon Sovereign, am not someone you can use as a tool. The Moon Demon Sovereign narrowed his eyes as he looked at the Grey Cloud Sovereign. The Tsangyan Sovereign pondered for a moment before explaining the whole story to the Moon Demon Sovereign. You mean there is a high possibility? Moon Monarch asked after a moment of thought. Naturally, the Ashen Clouds sect has to be the vanguard when fighting against the profound celestial realm. Tell me, do you think I would do this if it was impossible? The Ashen Cloud Sovereign asked. Have you thought about it? If we join forces and declare war on the Xian Celestial Realm, will the Xian Celestial Realm find other allies? Qiyu, Hailan, and Tingxi are all on good terms with him, so I won't do it. You can go back now. The Moon Monarch waved his hand at the Tsangyan Monarch, indicating that he was sending off his guest. The Grey Cloud Sovereign exhaled deeply as he sat on the teleportation array and left. The Demon Moon Sovereign wasn't willing to form an alliance. His plan for a realm war could only go down the drain. The Moon Demon Monarch sneered as he watched the Tsangyan Monarch leave. He would never engage in a life-and-death battle with the profound celestial realm. That would be equivalent to sacrificing 800 of his own men. However, he would never let go of the opportunity to obtain the soul cultivation liquid. After returning to the Demon Moon Hall, the Demon Moon Monarch gathered his subordinates, the Beginner King, and ordered them to capture Night Sorrow at all costs. Demon Moon Monarch's 3 junior kings immediately accepted the order and went to the mystic celestial realm to look for Night Sorrow. After the Tsangyan Sovereign returned to the Tsangyan sect, he also made the same arrangements. Since the battle of forces could no longer continue, they could only continue with the one-on-one battles. However, he knew that the chances of success were very low. If Night Sorrow wanted to hide, it would be very difficult to find him. Furthermore, the Black Heaven Sovereign was also protecting him. Night Sorrow knew that the world would be very chaotic. Therefore, he and Xueshi stayed in the Sage Master Pavilion and lived a quiet life. Night Sorrow spent his days refining pills, refining weapons, and cultivating his combat skills. This was because he still needed to cultivate the combination of the 3 combat skills that he had just researched. There was still room for improvement. While Xueshi was taking care of Night Sorrow, she was also guiding Ning Yun and Qiyue in their cultivation. Ning Yun and Qiyue knew about the relationship between Xueshi and Night Sorrow. Although they were not husband and wife in name, they were no different from husband and wife. The two of them called Xueshi Aunt. Night Sorrow also frequently guided Ning Yun and Qiyue in their cultivation. He would explain his recent cultivation of energy techniques to the two of them. Master, after reaching the Saint Realm, one has to rely on the power of laws to fight. Does that mean that energy techniques are useless? Chiyue asked. In the past, I had the same idea as you. However, that is not the case. Let me demonstrate it to you. Night Sorrow said. In fact, after entering the Saint Realm, he had neglected the research and development of energy techniques. Night Sorrow pulled out the Space Splitter Spear from his back. With a shake of his hand, he executed the Space Whirling Dragon Kill. The combination of shock wave and wave force attack blasted a black hole the size of a water tank in the space in front of him. Looking at the shocked Ning Yun and Chiyue, as well as Xuexi, whose eyes were filled with astonishment, Night Sorrow waved his hand and flattened the black hole. What kind of combat skill is this? Xuexi asked. Space Whirling Dragon Kill, Space Shock Wave, and Desolation Shock Force. Night Sorrow said. These days, when he was cultivating, his energy was restrained. Therefore, Xuexi and the others did not know the power of Night Sorrow's combat skills. Master, I was wrong. This is too powerful. I have to cultivate it. Chiyue bowed to Night Sorrow. Take your time. It's fine as long as you understand the concept correctly. Night Sorrow said. After explaining the theory of energy exertion skills to Ning Yun and Chiyue, Night Sorrow went to refine pills. He had collected a lot of pill materials in the Boundless Soul Realm. Half a month had passed. Ning Yun and Chiyue planned to go out to gain experience because actual combat was the best way to temper people. Night Sorrow did not object to the two's experience. Night Sorrow also never objected to such things. What he could do was to guide them carefully and help them with some resources. Shortly after Ning Yun and Chiyue left, Bei Xing came. She told Night Sorrow that the primary king of the Demon Moon Realm, Grey Cloud Sect, and Elemental Spirit Realm had all arrived in the mysterious Celestial Realm. Their target was obviously Night Sorrow. All of this was within Night Sorrow's expectations. Now that he was back, whether he got the soul cultivation liquid or not, the other party would make plans according to what he got. For this, Night Sorrow felt that there was no need to pay attention to it. The courtyard he lived in had an array formation that isolated probing. It was very difficult for the other party to find him. He still needed to refine pills and forge tools. Bei Xing supported Night Sorrow's idea. If Night Sorrow did not move, there would not be any trouble. The Grey Cloud sect did not get any benefits when they came to Big Dipper City last time. Now they would not be too presumptuous in Big Dipper City. After 2 days of peace, Bei Xing brought news again. The news made Night Sorrow feel disgusted. The spies of the Sky South dynasty had once again acted as the lackeys of the Grey Cloud sect. Despicable people are really invincible. Xuexi's face was full of killing intent. Well, there will be a day to deal with them, so don't worry. Night Sorrow was now used to the despicable conduct of the Sky South dynasty. In addition, the primary king of the Scarlet Fire's sovereign has also come from the Scarlet Fire world. The mysterious celestial realm has really become the core of the turmoil. Bei Xing shook her head helplessly. Night Sorrow just smiled. The tree wants to be quiet, but the wind will not stop. This was the portrayal of his current situation. What could he do? The only thing he could do was to stabilize and wait for his main body to break through. After his main body broke through, the fighting strength of Night Sorrow's clone would increase.